Hello, hello. Yeah, I like Tapu Koko, but at the same time, I've never been the biggest fan. I've always thought it's a bit overrated. Um, in the sense of to me, you need a team to build around it. Like I've used it in drafts, so else it like multiple people have used it against me, and I just don't think number one overall is a good spot for it, considering some of the other unbanned Pokemon in this draft. Yeah, I really like Magearna. I used it once in a league back when it was first allowed. Absolutely phenomenal Pokemon. I did not use it well, and I still was sweeping people. I don't even know why it's allowed, but I'm just glad I don't have to play Rome this season. Ooh. Oh.
Bam! Audio. That's what happens when you keep your mic muted. Um, that's fine.
Oh, that's awesome.
One of you can't be heard at all. Well, now you'll be heard. So, as I say this important announcement, um, when your team comes up and you're wanting to come and talk about your pick, get thrown into the stream waiting room, and either Mop or I will throw you into the actual stream, prepared to talk about your pick and explain your choices. Speaking of choices, I believe Mop, you were pick number 3 for the draft, correct?
Yep, and this was what I was originally planning on building on, and I'm so happy I got this thing. I've used it in draft format before. Greninja, Battle Bond is banned. Protean is not, but Protean is far better in draft format, anyways. Battle Bond is just too easy to counter and only useful for late game. But Protean Greninja is so good. Fantastic move pool, fantastic speed, especially with Z moves allowed. There's no real way to prep for it. It's going to deal heavy damage no matter what somebody does. I'm so happy I grabbed this. I was thinking Magearna going first, this going second, so I'm really happy this fell to me.
Yeah, Greninja, especially Protein Greninja, is something super scary, especially in this generation where a lot of the Gen 8 mons, I mean, there's not a whole lot that can deal with us, especially with Protein being able to switch things around super easily. Okay, so the fourth pick overall went to the Rocky Mountain Heavy Metals, and they went with the old reliable Landorus.
Yeah.
Uh...
First, but to explain this, because it's going to be coming up a lot in the draft, There was a major, so trading draft picks was allowed, and there was a major trade at the start. I'm struggling to find the actual like trade, but I think it was um, the heavy metals and the Krakow metal sound maybe. They switched first round draft picks, and then Krakow got the the second round pick. Then they switched thirds, um, and then Krakow got I think their sixth, and then Rocky Mountain got the eighth and ninth round picks. So
Yeah.
very big trade, but you'll see Rocky Mountain gets hardly any picks in the first few rounds, which is why I can kind of understand this going so early.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely easy to build around this, and it's a lot of things that people have to worry about. Granted, there's this really strong ice type, evidently, in Generation 8 that might pose a problem, but we'll get to that later. So, after the Rocky Mountain Heavy Metals was my pick, and I've been doing draft leagues now for 4 years, 3.5 to 4 years, and everyone knows what I pick first. I went with the captain pick. I went Sylveon. Yes, it was about 2 rounds early, but in a draft where I needed my best Mons off the gate, I the last thing I needed was to lose Sylveon in the beginning of the second round. So Sylveon,
Yeah,
amazing fairy. Have you seen Choice Banded Quick Attack before? I've watched it sweep the back half of a team on accident. But other than that, it gets access now to Magical Leaf and Mystical Fire, giving it some much needed coverage that Hidden Power now doesn't, or Hidden Power really just kind of substituted with. And there's a lot of cool things you can do with Sylveon, especially with the team that I was planning on drafting around with. Sylveon could do so much.
yeah. My I love Sylveon. I've used it a lot. My main issue is in point drafts, I usually see Sylveon go completely undrafted, if not a later round pick. So I understand the reason for picking it, but that doesn't mean fourth overall or fifth overall is a good pick for it.
Yeah.
I understand it being a large part of the plan, but I don't know. I don't think it's a great pick, but Fantastic Wall does a lot of damage. Has a fairly decent move pool people don't think about. I would say it's probably one of the best fairy types in draft format.
Yeah. So after Sylveon pick, we went over to another interesting mon to grab this early. We got the Glasgow Gudras picking up Infernape round one. This is kind of another you normally don't see this going round one, but it certainly happened this go around.
I've seen it go round one. I've seen it go round two, round three, not go. It's always weird. I don't like Infernape at all. I I don't see the appeal of it. 18 points is a lot in this draft. I can think of many better fire types. I love Dark Manitan more. I love Victini more. I love Entei more. I don't like Infernape. I understand it's versatile. I understand it's quick, but it just I don't like how frail it is. I don't think it does enough damage for its frailty. I don't like this mon or this pick.
Say I kind of agree with that. Like Infernape, yes, Infernape's a great mon. I've used it before. It's helped me in many draft leagues, but it's also kind of cursed me in many draft leagues. It's something that can easily be countered and something that is like, oh, it's Infernape. We can just do that and it handles it. It needs to be paired up well, and we'll see if the Glasgow Gudras can pair up with it. Coming out of the sixth pick, I think the first generation 8 mon, we have Dragapult going to the third Missouri team, the Kansas City Keldios.
You'll have to cover this. I know almost nothing about Gen 8, and I know nothing about this guy,
Okay.
despite that I hate his design. I know he hits really hard and he's really fast and has a fantastic typing,
Yeah, so
but I don't know how he plays.
Ghost Dragon is a very interesting typing, especially in this format. It's going to block Rapid Spinners for those people who think it's okay to use Rapid Spin on this trying on this thing, but the real main thing is this thing hits really, really hard. And it can surprisingly take a hit or two. Now, granted, Choice Banded Giga Impact would kill it, but not everyone's bringing Banded Giga. Woo! Choice Banded Giga Impact. But this Mon, it's a great first round pick. It's been going first in many Gen 8 leagues. And so it doesn't surprise me that it went first round here when everything's on the table. Okay, making sure that no one wants to be thrown over, so we're going to be moving on to the next pick. Speaking about good fire types, the Atlanta Shocks taking Victini, which is, in my opinion, one of the best draft league fire types you could probably get.
Yeah, I do really like Victini. I understand this could be early to take it, but keep in mind this is a 16 team league. And so if you want Victini, Atlanta has to take it right now. It's the only way for it to snag this Mon. It does so much damage. I understand it's not the most versatile, like it is, but there are more versatile, in my opinion, in terms of stat spread. But I don't know. I think it's a very strong pickup, definitely a threat to any team. And in general, I like it as a first round pick because no matter what gets sniped, you can build off of this thing.
Yeah, Victini is very versatile in what you can use with it. And also, it kind of scares a lot of opponents that, oh, here comes Victini. Now I have to be ready to deal with it. Because some people are just kind of hope that, okay, maybe this thing will get drafted. Okay. Next pick on the round is something I really have no clue about. I didn't get to play Let's Go, and I've never done draft leagues with Melmetal, but the Toronto Teppegs grabbed Melmetal round one.
Yeah, I don't know much about it either. I was looking at it just to try it by its stats. It has, I wouldn't say a fantastic move pool, but certainly not bad. It gets Darkest Lariat, it gets Thunder Wave, Thunder Punch, um, Body Press. So it does a lot for it. Body Press especially good, considering both its attack and defense are 143. And with an HP of 135, like even though its special defenses are weak, this thing seems like it can do a lot. I've never seen it used, but I can't think of any reason. Like I can see why it went round one. I just don't particularly know if it will be a good pick.
Yeah, it'll probably depend on what Toronto grabs next. Speaking of the next pick, the first Mega of the draft, Seattle Memories picking up Mega Mawile round one. Now, a lot of leagues, especially back in the day, banned this thing. And then it slowly came back into the meta, and here it has it going round one of this massive list of Pokemon that you could potentially grab.
Yeah, I really like Mega Mawile. I've used it before. It's at this point in Draft League, I understand completely why it's not banned anymore. There's just enough checks that have just been introduced into the game lately. But you cannot sleep on it. It's incredibly strong, fantastic typing. Steel Fairy is one of the best typings in the game. It has a great move pool. I don't know. I think this was a great pick. I feel like Jose and the Seattle Mariners. I can't pronounce that, but it seems to me like this is a great Magirna like switch if that's what they're going for.
Yeah.
But I do think this is a fantastic Mon, and definitely should go round one.
Oh yeah. Okay. After Mega Mawile, an interesting pick in my opinion. Grimmsnarl for the next generation 8 Mon is not what I would consider a round one pick, but I mean it does have a lot at its utility. I believe it gets Prankster. At least I've seen it use Dark types moves really fast. It is a fast Mon. It is a okay typing. I believe Dark Fairy. I've only faced it. I haven't gotten to play with it at all. But Grimmsnarl can do a lot on the offensive side. Defensively, it's kind of lacking. But, I mean, when you're fast enough to outspeed everything, it doesn't really matter what your defenses are sometimes. And the
Well,
Boston Weagle's picking up Grimmsnarl, I should
it's
mention.
actually not fast at all. It's at 60 base speed. Uh,
It must be that Prankster then.
yeah, so Prankster, very nice ability. Its defenses aren't great, but does have 95 HP, so that's always useful. I will say Prankster is very useful, but if he wants to go offensive, Frisk I do think is very underrated in Draft League.
Oh,
Being
yeah.
able to try to figure out sets of Pokemon based on their item seems to have a pretty strong move set. I think this is a very good pickup, but I'm not sure about round one. for this. I think it could have easily waited, especially because, as you'll learn from us and other coaches, just in general, Gen 8 mons don't seem to be as sought after in this draft.
Yeah, I'd kind of agree with that. That's the Gen 8 Mons kind of seem a little bit weaker than their predecessors, especially in draft league format. Now G or VGC might be a little different, but draft league wise, they just don't stack up very well on there. Speaking about Gen 8 Mons, we got another Draco. We got Dracofish from the Krakow Metal Sound. All the interesting names. This thing has a fictitious rend, and if you've not seen that move before, a banded fictitious rend can almost one-shot a max defense Vileplume in the rain. Now that is scary to begin with.
Yeah, it's got strong jaw to help that out. Water absorb if they wanted to do something with that. I don't think Sand Rush is legal. I know it's going to get that, but I'm pretty sure that is legal. Chad is mocking how you said Vicious Rend,
Fictitious rend.
um, I think it's got a very strong move pool. This seems like one of those mons that you essentially know what it's going to do. It seems like it's going to try to outspeed you and outdamage you, but there doesn't seem to be much you can do about it. Water Dragon, very strong stab typing, not many attacks you can really do to try to stop it. And yeah, I think this was a good pick. I'm surprised it went this low.
Yeah, a lot of the Dracovic picks are usually like first five, and at least the Gen 8 drafts. After our fish friend, we have a staple in most draft league formats. We got T-Tar going to the Dark Sentinels. I wonder who their mascot is. I don't know. Um, T-Tar, Sand, so expect a Sand team perhaps, but even without Sand, T-Tar does a really good job. Its typing makes it kind of weak to fighting types, but you can plan around that really well.
Yeah, I do like Tyranitar. It's got a lot more stuff than people think it can do. You can run special T-Tar and it can hit hard as 95 special attack. Offensive, it's got 134 regular attack. It's both defenses are good, and Sandstream just moves up sped. I don't know, it's a really good mon, but again, I don't think this was a good round one pick, especially considering how close the Dark Sentinels are to that wheel. I think they probably could have grabbed their next pick here, would have been a safer option. Tyranitar, I just don't think would have gone. And I think to me, one of the big things about drafting is what mons can you replace, and T-Tar, at least to me, is something that can easily be replaced in a team of snipes. So I'm not sure about the round one pick.
After our T-Tar, this thing went way later than it should have.
Yeah,
Tapu Lele.
pick 14.
Tapu Lele, which is a pain in the butt to try and deal with. This thing
This is
is
one of the big reasons why I don't like the Coco pick early. I understand they do different things, but like I've in terms of wanting to try this thing out.
Tapu Lele hits like a truck. It gets rid of priority. It it does so much against teams if you bring the right set. And it's been similar to Magirna. This thing's been banned in several leagues. I mean, it's came back into the meta, but this thing, especially early on, was like, nope, no Tapu Lele, and it went very deep into round one. This, like, I would have saw this coming in the first five picks. I would have been surprised if it went pick number one.
Yeah, my it seems really strong. Obviously, I haven't seen it in draft leagues. Great defense or special defense, great special attack. I understand that terrain was nerfed. The only thing I think kind of putting this back is its move pool doesn't seem very deep. Obviously, versatile enough to be good, but not super deep. But still, I would say this is a steal
Yeah, definitely
down here.
steal for the Chicago Bear ticks all the way down here. I would agree with that as well. So after Lele, what do you grab next? Well, what you grab next is going to be the other Tapu Bulu, going um, all the way pick 15. This thing eats earthquakes like candy, and it's probably the most I want to say it's the most balanced compared to like being able to fight it and then also using it. I mean, grass fairy. I mean, it kind of dies to Drapion half the time, but most people don't draft Drapion.
Yeah, this thing is phenomenal. I've used it before. Does so much damage. You even if you know they're going to bring it, you can't switch into it. You're going to have poison tech, which is another great part of this mon. Is you will force your opponents to run hidden power poison, whether you bring this or not. That they just have to,
Yeah.
because this thing it dies to hidden power poison, sure, but if your mon doesn't have that, what are you supposed to do to this? Especially like a horn leech in the terrain, it'll heal up all damage you do to it if you don't heavily cripple this thing. I love this mon. I think this is a fine place to pick it. Maybe a little early, but definitely a good mon.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with that. Bulu checks a lot in. Okay, what do I want in this draft league? And to finish off the round, speaking about things that, um, I mean, this is okay to put it. Celesteela. Speaking of steel types that work well with Bulu, Celesteela does quite a bit. It steel flying. It's like a better Skarmory. It can be offensive, but it can be also be really defensive and can be really difficult to try and break on a team, especially if you don't prep for it well or if the person using it preps really well.
Yeah, I've used Celesteela a lot before. I somehow paired it with Protean Grin using trades in the league, which was amazing. I choked in playoffs, but
That sounds
I love
illegal.
this mon. I made someone rage quit a league using this because I toxic stalled their Mega Charizard and double protected it to death. Because this thing, I understand it might be a set people don't like. You could call me toxic, but running Protect, Toxic, Leech Seed, and then like Heavy Slam or something on this thing will it'll ruin anybody's team. It might be a stall set, but you just can't break through it.
Don't give
And
people
then you of
names.
course can run your offensive atomize sets. You can run special, you can run physical on this thing. Can you run either defense? It doesn't get roost or stealth rock, which I would love, but it would be banned if it did. This thing is incredible.
um, so after Celesteela, that was the wheel pick. So after Celesteela, you go with Necrozma here, and we're
Actually, real quick, uh, do you want to just talk about like, is there anything you thought was interesting about the last round?
oh yeah. So Tapu Lele going late was probably the biggest thing for me. I'm not going to mention the fact that Infernape and Sylveon both kind of went really early, but I think Lele going that late, that's scary. I'm gonna that we gotta watch that team, and yeah,
Yeah,
I have to face that
especially to
twice.
me, Lele being picked so close to the wheel is terrifying.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, this Necrozma pick by the at the time Sacramento Gengars.
So
Uh,
I was trying to find the name.
I'm not. Necrozma is quite a strong Pokemon. It's very bulky, does a lot of damage, like a lot. Obviously, it gives him Trick Room, which I love Trick Room. Can help both Necrozma and Celesteela if he builds it correctly. It's a little fast for Trick Room, but nevertheless, you can make it look good.
Oh yeah. It's
Um, yeah, so I really like this mon. I've never used it, and on paper, it doesn't seem like something I like, but I've seen it sweep so
oh
many
yeah.
teams.
Necrozma's definitely, if not even like sweeping, but just like, oh, here's your check for a really important Pokemon on my team. Let me just chuck Necrozma at you and let you sit and like slowly die for about 20 turns, and then you'll feel bad, and then I'll bring that Pokemon back in. So after Necrozma, something that, in my opinion, went really early this go around is going to be Kyurem here. Kyurem, just regular Kyurem, not like Kyurem Black. Now, if it was Kyurem Black, I'd be like, why didn't this? This is kind of okay, but regular Kyurem here, which normally it kind of sits like T3 if this is a tiered draft format, which is what I'm used to. Paired with Tapu Bulu, though, that makes it kind of an interesting pairing here.
Yeah, This team is rocking with so much damage at this point. Kiram having, 130 in both attacks and 125 HP. It's very similar, maybe not how it runs, but like stat wise, it reminds me a lot about Bulu. Um, I do think it's a strong mon, but I don't think I like this pairing too much and this fairy dragon or not fairy dragon steel, but just the fairy dragon part of that going on.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you
Um,
on that.
I like I don't know. Kiram's always been interesting to me because its move pool and stat line make it always seem better than I've ever actually seen it used, which is confusing to me.
I agree with
So
you
I
on
do
that.
think this is a stretch, and I don't quite see how this fits on the team, but I don't think it's a bad pick.
Okay. So after Kira, um, Gen 8 Mons, Corviknight, probably one of the best draft league Gen 8 Mons we got, but that's not saying a whole lot. Corviknight, a more offensive Skarmory coming up here from the Chicago Beartix, picking it up with Tapu Lele, which is an interesting pairing so far.
Yeah, very defensive fairy and steel course so far. Um, Looking at it though, I don't see Corviknight. I've never actually used. Again, I don't know much about Gen 8. My big problem looking at it though is I don't think it really even has a move pool. Like it's got one, but for early draft league picks, I like being able to dive in. It's got pretty decent bulk, but not something that can't be taken out. I don't know. I don't know much about this mon. It seems like a pretty nice defensive pairing with Lele though. So if he gets like a strong dragon to balance out those two, I think that'll be a terrifying core.
Oh yeah. Okay. So after Corviknight,
Oh, we're
Dark.
being yelled at for trash talking Gen 8. I'm sorry.
I mean, we're not wrong. Dark Sentinels. This thing usually goes round one, but
Yeah,
here's
this is why I was surprised he grabbed Tyranitar first.
so normally Mega Lopunny gets first, and then it's Tyranitar. But no, Mega Lopunny went round two here. Mega Lopunny is really fast. It's really strong. It hits high jump kicks unless you have bad luck, and then it's a really sad mon that reminds you of looking in a mirror. That might have went a little too far, but Mega Lopunny hits really really hard, and you're like, oh, it's a normal fighting type. Let's run a ghost type. No, Scrappy's a thing, and Scrappy will run through your team pretty darn well.
I do like this paired with Tyranitar a lot. Obviously, fighting weakness is huge on the team right now, but it's two picks in.
Yeah.
Only problems he needs to watch is point balance, already dipping down to 70 of the 110.
Oh yeah.
But besides that, I like the offense and defense aspect. I like how the speeds complement each other. I think this is a pretty good first two pick pairing.
I would agree with that. Okay, so after Megalop, more megas. This is Mega Sableye, which is not something at least personally, I normally see go this early. And that's Crack Claw Metal Sound picking up Sableye. Round two, Sableye is slow. Trick Room's pretty cool. It has a lot of utility with it, and it has a little bit of bulk, but it also is pretty frail when it comes to the fairies.
I mean, I will say I agree with that. I do think it works pretty well with Dracovish, especially with that Trick Room being available, because Dracovish isn't the fastest, but you don't have to run a Scarf to get your Fish's Rend stronger if you're in a Trick Room situation. My only problem is I thought Mega Sableye was pretty expensive in this league as a tier 1,
Yeah,
but
I'd agree with that too.
obviously, it is a fantastic Pokemon. Uh, no one can deny that. I think this is a strong pairing for the first two picks. Ariel will just have to watch the point economy.
Yeah. After Mega Sableye, I think we can throw. I think Matt's in here if we want to
Yeah,
throw him for some Boston Weasels Cinderace. Matt, how you doing? And tell us why Cinderace is going round two here.
Matt's muted. So while I wait on that, let me trash talk Cinderace some more. um, no, So he's paired up Cinderace and Grimmsnarl because Matt obviously loves his Gen 8 Mons. I do really like the speed and attack on this thing. Uh, Fantastic right there. I don't know, but I don't have much to say about it. I think it's got a strong move pool, a lot of fire attacks, which are nice. Especially Pyro Ball seems interesting. 10% chance to burn for 10% accuracy drop. Seems at least fun to use though. I do think speedy fire types are very important in Draft League. So I think this will be a really strong pick. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I think this is a good pick. I don't know much about it. Maybe it's an early one,
Um,
but
I would say
it's
with
got good speed to help out Grimmsnarl.
yeah, I would say with how the Gen 8 drafts have been going that it's about in the right spot to be drafted. Matt, are you still going to say anything, or are we going to throw you back to the other room?
Uh, I'm gonna throw him back, and if he adds us, I can bring him back, and he can tell
Okay,
us about his pick.
sounds good. Matt will join us later. We have other people lined up to join, so don't think it's just us two handling this all. But after some Boston Weasel shenanigans, a Pokemon that has been drafted so many times really early on in Gen 8 drafts is going to be Hydreigon, and it's going round to the Seattle Marinis. Um,
Oh, this is disgusting, but in a great way. I really like this pairing. This Fairy Dragon Steel of Hydreigon and Mega Mawile. So much offensive power here. I think their typings help each other out pretty well.
oh yeah, and with
Um, those fairy types just being eaten by Mega Mawile, even though it's not that defensive. Hydreigon, such a versatile Pokemon. I love it. I never get used in draft leagues because it always gets drafted. So I've just given up on it. So it's not a snipe for once. But yeah, I really like this pick right here. Um, yeah, I think this is a fantastic pick.
okay, and I would agree with that. Hydreigon, especially with Mega Mawile, Hydreigon having Levitate, there's the Earthquake switch in right there. And Hydreigon can run physical. If you've not seen physical Hydreigon, you've not had your hopes crushed and dreamed, or hopes and dreams crushed. But there's also the mainly special, and it has a pretty large move pool, especially in Gen 8. Speaking of fairy types, what?
Actually, hold on. Let me try something. Matt said he couldn't figure out how to unmute. I
Okay.
think Stream Chat is muting him. There we go. Uh, Hold on. I'm confusion right now. Continue on real quick as I try to figure this out.
Okay, well, Mop's trying to get Matt back to life. We have Hat Train up here. Psychic Fairy, taken by the Toronto Tech Pigs to match up with Melmetal. Hat Train's probably the one of the best new fairies added in Generation 8. It's bulky. It has an okay move pool. It's not like fantastic, but it can definitely deal a lot of damage. It has a lot of bulk to it, and doesn't die nearly as fast as you would think it is. Um, but yeah, Hatchrin, definitely a good pickup here with Melmetal to get the Steel and Fairy. We'll have to see what Dragon the Toronto Tepigs decide to grab here. Do we have Matt or do we not have Matt?
Uh, it's not working. Let me. I say for now we just jump in the other stream thing and just tell people to stay muted.
Okay. Mob's gonna switch over there. He's gonna move Matt over. For this next pick, real fast, I'm gonna talk about it while I move myself over. Tapu Fini going with Victini for the Atlanta Shocks, and we have the coach of the Atlanta Shocks with us over in the waiting chat. Um, Eventually, if we get over there, let me see if I can't. Actually, I can't drag JoJo. That has to be a you thing, Mom. Let's
Yeah, but
see. Oh,
it's muting people. So let's just
okay.
jump in the.
We shall switch to the other one. And JoJo is here.
Hello,
To t-
hello.
okay, we finally have a
All
coach
right.
with us. Talk about Tapu Fini here.
um, Water fairy. I like fairy types. Now let me stop. This shit right here, this thing right here, it's gonna take lives in this league. I'm just letting you guys know now. It's bulky as hell. I got Scald, and I got the What's its ability? I got up. There's no more toxic. I don't got no burns on me. I'm telling you, I just had to pick up Tapu Fini because of the other picks that you're gonna see in the future. But yeah, and it goes
Nice.
well with Victini too.
Yeah, I love Tapu Fini. I personally think it's better than Tapu Koko. Don't at me.
Oh wait, wait. You
My
know what?
my reasoning is it's always, well, not in this league, but in most leagues it's cheaper than Coco, and I think it actually can do a good amount more and impact teams a bit better.
I would agree with that as well. According to Eric, we got things fixed, so I'm going to switch back over. Jojo, thanks for joining us, and we will meet back up with you with your third pick.
Of course, of course.
Okay. Switch over, and things should be good to move people around. And Tapu Fini is here, and after that, this is an interesting pick. So Kansas City Keldeo, Bisharp, round two, Dragapult. I mean, here we got Dragon and Steel, and we got Ghost and Dark. But for times that I've seen Bisharp not even be drafted, here we go, round two with it.
Okay, so first off, before I preface this, I gotta preface this. I love Bisharp. I think it's a fantastic Pokemon. The fighting weakness, you're going to have something to eat fighting types on your team, otherwise it's a bad team. Like, that's part of the game. Fighting types are amazing anyways. It deals so much damage. It can do so much. I had it on my team for one battle, and it pained me when I had to trade it. But it gave me, Celesteela and Greninja, so it was worth it. But I really like this Mon, but this is very early. This core is building up great from these two picks. Just I don't know. It's Dragapult Bisharp, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of power. Not a lot of defense. I don't know. I don't think it's bad. I think they can easily belong on the same team together, but I don't think round two was the time to take this.
Yeah, I would kind of agree with that. So after some Bisharp, Glasgow Gudras picking up Mega Diancie, which so Rock and Fairy is called Steel Food, and Generation 8 brought a lot of Steel types, but that's besides the point, because my Mega Diancie is fairly bulky outside of its massive Steel weakness, and it also hits really hard, especially when it can set up things like with Diamond Storm and then Calm Mind sets.
Yeah, I really like Mega Diancie. I mean, again, I think it's a bit too expensive in this league, being a tier one. But I think it's really good, and Fernape can definitely take out those steel types, having both stabs.
Yeah.
Take them out pretty easily, especially having, special attacks in those stabs. So I do like this pick. I think it probably would have gotten sniped. Do I think this is the best pick? No, but I think this is a pretty solid pairing.
The only thing that the Gudras will have to worry about right now is the fact that they're it's double weakness to Earthquake right now. But again, as we've been saying, this is only pick number two. They could draft all flying types after this and be fine. But that would be a draft. Mono flying. Speaking about draft picks and people who suck, Sylveon Casey took Suicune after Sylveon. It's not that I have a special thing with S's. It's the fact that Suicune is a bulky water type that has a lot of ways that it can be a pain to people. Crocoon, freezing the living crap out of everyone. I accidentally did that to a commissioner. He wasn't too pleased with me. But it also allows you have defensive bulk, and now with Suicune's special defensive bulk with Sylveon, both can do a whole lot to a team. I don't know if it was really a good grab this early on, but from at least the chat, there was a lot of people who was like, man, I had Suicune on my list.
Yeah, I mean, it also gives you another Missouri mascot, so there you go.
Yeah, just grab both of them.
Yeah, I do. I like both of these Mons, and I like them together, just not in this stage. Necessarily pair well together. In my mind, like if I'm bringing two walls, I'll bring one of them. Is how I see their roles, at least in my play style.
Yeah.
They can easily be built around to help each other, though. Just in this stage, I don't like them together.
Okay, after the Sylveon Casey pick, an evolution that went real early for Generation H, going to be Jolteon. With so as you can see here, um, this the Krakow Metal Sound have three picks. That's because or three Pokemon now. That's because they traded picks, as Mop described earlier. So round three, Jolteon coming out to pair with Dracovish and Mega Sableye.
Yeah, this is very early. I was shocked when I saw this. It wasn't a snipe because, this wasn't even on my radar at the time. Like, this really surprised me. But at the same time, I understand where he's coming from. Nothing really replaces Jolteon. Like, nothing. It obviously doesn't have the best move pool, but in terms of fast electric types, I actually electric types in general, this is my favorite in Draft League. Strong special attack, fantastic speed, Volt Absorb. It does so much. You could give it Quick Feet if you wanted, I guess. But
I've
I think
seen.
it's really good. I'm not sure how well it fits on the team at this particular moment. I can see where it is going to help though. He did need that speed, and the special attack boost is going to be very nice. And I don't know, I think it's a solid addition to any team. And I don't like how early it was picked, especially again. Or I guess actually, this could be decent considering it usually goes round three, and he does not have a round three pick until much later.
Yeah, so um, this it will be interesting to see how he pairs up with Jolteon. After Jolteon, Mop gets to explain why he's taking a very good steel type in Scizor.
Okay, so I was trying to figure out. I was stuck between two megas. One, the mean Mega Caesar, because I love that mon, and I figured I love Choice Band enough. I'm willing to sacrifice it in order to get Caesar here. Fantastic Pokemon. I think it's one of the best steel types. I personally prefer offensive steel types to defensive. I love defensive, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I don't really think of him as a steel type in that regard. I just love the stab from Bullet Punch, one of my favorite moves. I love the offense it gives my team. I love how it has access to defog and a defense to allow me to use that. Technician, oh, I love Technician. And I really like this mon. I couldn't bear for it to be sniped, so I decided to take it round two. May have been a bit early, but
I think it was an okay grab this early on. So after the St. Louis weekend, we jump into Roman Polion, picking up one of the Lottie twins, picking up Latias right now to pair with Magirna.
this is such a good pairing. I mean, to be fair, they do pretty similar things. That might be why I'm calling it a good pairing in the sense of they can be bulky or they can just nuke things. But I think this is a very solid Fairy Dragon Steel. I hate this draft already. I don't want to face it. And actually, I don't,
I faced it
unless I
twice.
make it to the finals, but I'm not. But I think this is a fantastic pickup. This is just so gross. I think it reminds me too much of Jose's pick. I think this is better just uh especially levitate
Did that fix our problems?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. It just kind of sounded like you were getting cut off, and then you got cut off. I was like, well,
Oh,
let's
you were
jump to this.
dying on my end.
Yeah.
And I was just saying how this is probably the most terrifying pair up I've seen of this round.
Oh, I definitely agree with that. I get to face it.
I think Jose definitely gets a very close second.
So to finish off round two, Skarmory with Tapu Koko. What? Skarmory, we already seen Corviknight go, we've seen Celesteela go, so it only makes sense that Skarmory would be picked up eventually. I've seen it go round two several times. I don't remember the point total on Skarmory, but if it was for a decent price, I think it's a fine pickup right here, especially on the wheel where he can basically draft whatever he wants in whatever order.
Yeah, I believe Skarmory was it was 18 points, same as Tapu Koko, so a bit expensive, but I think it's a very solid mon. A bit one dimensional, but does what does very well. Haven't used it in a long time, but I think I do like this pairing. I don't think it's scary, but it's very strong.
And to back up on Skarmory, there's Salamence. So we went Tapu Koko, Skarmory, Salamence for the Aston Villa Banferos.
This Fairy Dragon Steel, man. I think it's very good. My one issue is I think Salamence is overrated. Yell at me, but I don't like him that much. Um, I think this is very terrifying though. So much offense to but balanced out with great defense. My only issue is the speed stat. The base 100 is a little slow for me for how Salamence likes to run, but having both Intimidate and
I'd agree with that. So after Salamence, we go back to Roman Polion, and going with Mega Blastoise as their third pick, which I think is an interesting grab to pair with Magirna and Latias.
yeah, I don't like this pairing actually. I think either a fast water type would have been better, like a fast hard hitting, or a bulky. He kind of got a mixture of those in Mega Blastoise. Just don't get me wrong, it's a really good mon, does so much damage, it's very bulky, but I'm not so sure it was the pick for this.
Um, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I know the Empoleon's team already, but for those watching at home who don't know, it'll be interesting to see how he pairs Mega Blastoise with the rest of his Pokemon. After that, speaking about really good Megas, Mega Altaria go into the St. Louis Suicunes, and Mop can explain, in my opinion, probably one of the best Megas of all time, grabbing right here, at least in Draft League format.
People sleep on this thing so much. This was the first Mega I ever took. Especially, this thing is 18 points. It's cheaper than like every other Mega except Blastoise that's been taken. I know that's not much, maybe like two, but it's cheap. The Fairy Dragon typing is fantastic. I know Ferrothorn Mega Altaria is a better pairing, but I thought Caesar Mega Altaria was still a very good pairing. I think this helps bring about a, another good balance of bulk and balancing out both bulk and offense on my team in my first two picks. I don't know. You can trash it all you want. I don't know. I personally think this is I like these three pairs.
So yeah, I agree. I think Mega Altaria is one of the best Megas of all time in Draft League format. As I said, it sets up super well, and if you don't even want to set up, you can just use it to break things really easy. After Mega Altaria, Rocky Mountain Heavy Metals picking up what was just mentioned, Ferrothorn, for their second pick. Remember, they lost one because they traded it away, but picking Ferrothorn, I mean, it's kind of fair that Ferrothorn rolls around at this time.
Yeah,
And we just lost Mob again.
drafts is I can never justify Ferrothorn. He's pricey. He was 18 points, and he's a little bit one dimensional. I understand he can do other things, and what he does is very good. I will say this: I think these two pair very well.
I think we lost him again.
That just proves that they're a good core, a lot of offense, a lot of defense. I'm liking the start to the team.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see what they grab after Ferrothorn. After Ferrothorn, though, went Gudra. There's a theme going on here, and it's poor picks, but very bulky Pokemon from yours truly. Gudra is. I don't think it's. No, never mind. It was going to be, but I decided against it. Gudra, especially. This is normally my Sylveon replacement when I do like regular draft leagues, but here I grabbed both. It's going to be the start of the Fairy Dragon Core because I don't like steel types. Um, Gudra has a very large move pool. It can do a lot. It has this cool thing called Sap Sipper, so that pairs well with Suicune for the grass types that come in. And it really enjoys just kind of sitting there and clicking Draco Meteor and then turning around and clicking a physical type move because it can be both ways.
Yeah, it can do both very well because 100 attack, 110 special attack. My favorite though is just it's so bulky. 150 special defense. It is, in my opinion, the best assault vest using the game. Glasgow Gudras are saying snipe. Such a good mod. I love this thing. I was debating instead of Caesar Mega Altaria going Mega Caesar and Gudra, but I decided I liked the other way a bit better. I think Assault Vest GUI is also a fantastic way to use this mon because speed is so important, and the only way to get past Assault Vest is to hit them physically and take that -1 speed. I love Gudra. Only issue I would say again is your team is not bound together very well, but
Yeah. But Gudra going to, as you heard, snipe. Speaking of the person that just got sniped, the Glasgow Gudras taking Magnazone round 3, which is a very interesting pairing. Also, more air balloons, as he said in the chat earlier, for Infernape. Now Magnazone's here, so we're looking at some more air balloons with Infernape, Mega Diancie, and now Magnazone.
I don't like Magnazone. I've never seen it pop off ever, which is weird because when I look at it, I look like I'd like it, but I don't. It hits like a truck. I understand that. I'm not a huge fan of the move pool, but I will say I think this is good support for Diancie and Infernape. I do like this team so far. I don't think it's the best team we're seeing right now, but I do think it's a very solid team.
And this is something that enables the Gudras to trap some steel types if they really wanted to, but that's just an option here. So after Magnazone, I don't like this thing. KC Keldio's picking up Scolipede, round
I
3.
love this one. I was
I
going to get completely oh yeah, people are just making fun of the ground weakness on the last team. But I was going to get like 5-0'd by someone and then reverse swept them using Scolipede at the end. I love Scolipede. Again, it was another mon I was thinking of taking. This really helps. Well, I guess he didn't need that much help on his speed, but a lot more speed. Only issue is he's getting to the point where he doesn't have bulk or special attacking. Like, I understand he has them, but not to an extreme. He doesn't have a mon that fits that role. He'll have to substitute out things for it.
yeah
And I think that is a problem going in here where you don't have any bulk or special attack. But
yeah.
I do like these three mons. I think once they get glued together, this team will be very scary.
So after Scolipede here, the Atlanta Shocks, and I don't know if JoJo's back to
Oh
explain.
yeah.
Alakazam.
One thing, Jojo had to go, but I will have to say
He will have to
it's
say.
not banned. So keep that in mind with Scolipede.
Yeah. So Mega Alakazam here, Psychic type, super fast, super hard hitting. I've seen it die to some really funny attacks though, but paired
It
with
dies
Tapu
to
Fini,
Pursuit.
um,
I've used it. I love Mega Alakazam. I love it with Greninja. That's how I usually use it. But it's a fantastic mod. Obviously, with Pursuit being allowed because of national decks, it's going to be he's going to have to plan for that. But got a lot of bulk and Finny to help that very bulky. Mega Alakazam is probably the best revenge killer in format. Gives him much needed speed for his roster, and this is shaping up to be a scary team.
Oh yeah. So after some Mega Alakazam, Toronto Tepig's picking up Tangrowth, which is a fair pick. I mean, Tangrowth's bulky regenerator, grass type, has coverage or has options to moves that you wouldn't think it would. But it's here. It'll sit on things,
So,
literally.
funny thing about Tangrowth, I was going to pick this thing, and then Jose asked to leave picks with me, and he left me Tangrowth. And then they made their picks at night, and they realized they accidentally skipped Finley and the Toronto to Pigs. So they deleted their picks, and that morning when Finley got on, guess what he went with? Tangrowth. Everyone wanted this. It was 12 points, incredibly cheap. This thing should be 14 or 16. It is so good. Great regenerator, super bulky, does so much damage. I'm really liking his pairing, except the speed part. There's no speed on their team, and I mean Hatterene has Trick Room, so that is a very strong option for them at this moment. But I still don't like, that the highest speed stat on their team is their Tangrowth with 50.
When Tangrowth's your fastest Pokemon, there's a problem. After Tangrowth, the Seattle Marinis picking up Reuniclus to pair with Mega Mawile and Hydreigon, and that's a scary 3 Pokemon right there.
Yeah, this is giving, this seems like another Gen 6 draft league team, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just giving off those vibes. Fantastic regenerator, trick room options for Mega Mawile. This is a fantastic trick room mon. Super bulky. This used to be a staple of my teams back in the day. I love it, love it, love it. I'm thinking, again, this is a very scary team. Doesn't have any walls per se, but it's getting bulk and Reuniclus as well as some more offensive power.
Oh yeah, Reuniclus bulk. It takes a lot of hits that it doesn't think you would, as it's just a blob of glue. But Reuniclus sets up really well as well. After Reuniclus, I think Matt's here, and he could talk about this ugly thing. If we can get Matt over here.
Ugly thing, you say?
Matt!
It's a very ugly looking thing.
I mean,
well,
I kind of like him.
That's subjective, okay? Listen.
I mean, he's got so many balls, dude.
I like to think of them as, speakers instead of... They emit sound,
Oh.
Okay.
So
let's talk about Seismitoad here.
Well, first things first, every team needs a water immunity because something called Dracovish exists. And I think Seismitoad's probably one of the best ones like that. I mean, there's... What's that thing called, the slug one? Gastrodon.
Gastrodon, yeah.
I don't know, there's not that many strong water immunities that come to mind, but this one gets Stealth Rock and Toxic, Knockoff, Earthquake. So, yeah, it's water immunity, electric immunity. Just felt like a pretty good one. It didn't cost that much either. It was only 10 points. So I thought it was pretty important. And I guess the reason I picked it up round 3 is because if I had to wait another, because it's towards the end of my round. Oh no, I get one pretty soon after this one. But anyway, I thought it was going to go within the next round or 2, so I wanted to make sure I grabbed it. Also, Gen 8 is the best. We'll see that with my 7 Gen 8 mons on my draft. Spoilers. But yeah, that's what I got to say.
Okay, thanks, Matt. And we'll pick you up with your 4th pick later on.
All right.
Yeah, as you're saying, very good water absorb, and I do think it's early, but I understand the pick here.
Yeah, especially Seismitoad. It can gives some issues for people who don't bring proper grass types or don't bring
And I
grass
mean, it's got
coverage.
poison touch.
Yeah,
Don't forget about the tech.
poison touch. Ew. After this Krakow metal sound, picked up Metagross as a their steel type to do. I guess we have Dragon Steel right now. Metagross in this format is an interesting mon. It sometimes does really, really well, and then sometimes it just kind of like sits dead on teams.
Yeah. I mean, it's a decent rocker. Its typing is interesting, but I don't think it's that good of a typing. Especially with the dark steel resist gone. But I don't know. I like Metagross. I don't think it should have been grabbed here. I think this is pretty early. Um, and I don't know. I like the bulk. The extra bulk added to the team is pretty nice. But I'm not a huge fan of Metagross in general. And being picked this early is interesting. Obviously, Metagross can hit like a truck. We can't discount that.
Oh no.
But I do think this is a pretty early time for this to go.
And I want to point out that, I mean, this is 4 picks in for the Metal Sound, and they're already down to 46 points. That's something to watch in that bottom right corner, how many points people have left.
Yeah. To make a comparison, though, the Boston Weasels had 64 after 3 picks.
There we go.
So,
Speaking about picks that are interesting, Thunderous going to the Dark Sentinels to pair with Mega Lopunny and T-Tar.
I actually really like this pick. Um, I think it adds some nice power, some more speed. Obviously, this is Thunderous Therian, but I know most people put T. I put I for the other ones because the Therian forms get drafted so much more.
Oh yeah, Harry gets
Um,
drafted a lot more than
Volt
Carter.
Absorb, very useful in draft. He doesn't have a need for it right now, but that doesn't mean it's a bad thing to have. And 145 special attack is just so much.
Oh yeah, especially paired with Mega Lopunny's however many hundreds crap ton attack. That's
Yeah, Lopunny has 136 regular attack.
yeah. So it's a good pairing for the attack wise. It can get a little frail, but you do have two like rock resists if you're like worried about stealth rocks at all.
Yeah,
After
yeah,
that,
I am liking this pick.
after that, the Chicago Beartix, Tapu Lele, which was such a really good pick. Corviknight, which was like and then we're gonna go with Arcanine, which was it's a very Arcanine is very good in my opinion. I'm a Pupper fan.
Yeah, I also really like Arcanine. I don't know if this was necessarily a steal from Rocky Mountain, but I'm just gonna say it is because Eric always drafts Arcanine. Um, Again, it's very bulky, does a lot of damage. It can do so much. All three of its abilities are useful: Intimidate, Flash Fire, and Justified. Um, I really like it, but and also I don't think this will end up being the Z captain with like Lele and all them available. But Arcanine is a good Z captain.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
I can't remember if I end up winning the game in the end. I'm pretty sure I lost though from a Z Dragon Pulse Arcanine.
I
Um, Again though, this team is it's it's going under the radar for me with 95 being its highest speed tier. Getting a bit later into the draft, that's a problem. Though they do still have a pretty strong point economy with 58.
oh yeah. So it's funny you mentioned the Z Dragon Pulse because I've done Z Outrage once to turn a game around and go back to win it.
It's such an underrated mon.
Oh yeah. After that, we're going with the Bulu Kiram Buzzwole. Buzzwole's an interesting pick. It's one of those that when it first was introduced was really, really strong. And then it has slowly kind of fallen to the wayside. And it dies to like hidden power flying from like a fart or something.
Yeah, it awful special defense, pretty decent HP. It's slow, bad special attack, but its attack and defense are so good. And again, that HP. Beast Boost is a great ability. Let's talk about this one. It's just a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Is my issue with it. Um, it's designed 100% like one, but I like Buzzwole. I was looking at it a bit myself. I don't like it on this team. This team is too offensive for me. Um, like obviously all of the mons can eat a physical hit pretty decently, but that's about it.
Oh yeah.
Um, I don't know, and like there's no fire resist on the team. So if you have like a Darmanitan or an Infernape, you can run through this team pretty nice if you do it right.
Oh yeah.
Actually, maybe less of those, but like like a special fire move does a lot against these guys.
Oh yeah, I'd agree with that.
Um, but I think with some walls and some special wall breakers, this team's going to get a lot scarier.
Okay, so after Buzzwole, things were switched around to Mega Aerodactyl, picking up round 3 to pair with Celesteela and Necrozma. All I
Yeah, so
see here is electric food.
yeah, this is where the new coach took over after the draft. Um, and I don't know, Mega Aerodactyl is fantastic. Sweeps me all the time. I cannot put a stop to this one for some reason. I think it adds a lot of damage to the team. This team needed speed. I understand like electric is a big problem for the team right now, but I'm liking how it's shaping up. I think this team has great potential as it goes on.
Oh yeah, I would agree with that as well. For round picks, here's a Pokemon that I thought about drafting. Then I saw it was 20 points, and I'm like, hmm. Also, look at this. So 56 to 36 now. 36 points and 4 picks left. Garchomp. So the Dragon, Steel Core, Celesteela, and Garchomp's interesting. But paired with Mega Aerodactyl, so there's your electric problem gone. But now we're going to be running into the fact that this is pretty. I mean, yeah, Necrozma's especially offensive, kind of, and Celesteela kind of is, but now we have 2 back-to-back picks that are super physically offensive here.
Yeah. It also I understand it has rockers because if I remember correctly, both Necrozma and Garchomp get Stealth Rock.
Yeah.
Um, I might be being stupid about that, but I'm pretty sure Celesteela and Garchomp good Dragon Steel pairing there. I'm liking that. So I do think this adds a lot of options to the team. My only issue is, like you were saying, I mean, Necrozma is a great special breaker. I don't know. This team has a lot of potential. I feel like it needs another wall for the Celesteela so that it can be open up to some of those other abilities. But I am liking this initial start.
After Garchomp, Lowland Muck comes out of the Twin Leaf Titans to pair with Tapu Bulu, Kyurem, and Buzzwole. We're still, I mean, we're still physically offensive here. We're still missing some sort of special.
I mean, in DBL, I can't remember what season we saw this thing go round one. I think it was right after Gen 7 came out.
Oh,
So that was interesting. This is very early for this mon. Not a huge fan of it being picked right here. But I do like Alolan Muck in general, but again, this team is too much physical attack for me. This adds again, I don't like that the highest specially defensive mon on the team is Alolan Muck. I have a problem with that with only 100 SPDF and 105 HP. Honestly, Kyurem might be better in that sense because it has 90 SPDF but 125 HP. I don't like this pick that much. I've never been it. I mean, I've been destroyed by an Alolan Muck, but that was because I had Mega Alakazam. But I don't think this is a fantastic pick. I like all the Mons, I guess, on the Twin Leaf Titans, but they all do very similar things.
Yeah, he's gonna need to grab something that changes it up. After Lola Muck, this was pulled out. They were talking about it in the chat. We got the Chicago Beartics picking up Zygarde 10%. The little Zydoji here, Tapu Lele, Corviknight, Arcanine, and now Zydoge.
Interesting Fairy Dragon Steel Core. I wouldn't call it bad. I'd call it interesting. I feel like I would have preferred a bulkier dragon to go with those, but that's just me because I'm not a huge fan of Psydoge in general. But fast ground types are very underrated in Draft League, so that's going to be very useful. He's still got a decent point budget, not great, but not too bad. But yeah, I do like the Zydoge. I don't think it was the perfect pick for him. Obviously, it has to only be Aurora Break. But it doesn't do enough damage for me. It's not fast enough, and it's not bulky. It's not bulky at all. So he's definitely going to have to draft around that to make sure it stays strong or knows what they're doing. But I don't know. Though I will say they needed speed. That's something I was complaining about, and Zygarde gives them that speed. And it gives them a bit more offense. So I think just some more speed and some walls, and I'm going to be terrified of these guys.
Okay. After Zydoge, we're going with Klefki for the Dark Side.
I don't understand this. Type. It's got Prankster, but with Prankster being nerfed and this not being the best Prankster mon in the first place, I'm not the biggest fan. Obviously, Thunderwave is going to be very good to help set up more. I don't know what they're saying, chat with me at these mics. Are mics breaking? I don't know. But I don't know. Klefki, I'm not the biggest fan of for this pick. Thunderwave will be very useful for picking out some of those other mons, but I think this is pretty early to take it. Defog might be nice, even though they already had it with Thundurus. I don't know, I'm not a big fan of this pick. I love support mons, but I think this is too early and don't think this is the support mon.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he pairs with. This is his Steel Fairy, so whatever dragon he decides to pick up here will be interesting. Speaking about dragons, Rocky Mountain Heavy Metals picking up Latios here to pair with Landorus, Therian, and Ferrothorn.
I really like this.
Latios is a very good mon in Draft League format. Paired with Ice Food, and Ferrothorn is some problems, but I'm sure that they'll deal with it later. But Latios alone, I almost said Psychic Fairy, Psychic Dragon. That's so we got the dragon and the steel so far in that core, and Latios is bulky, can hit like a truck, has very, very good coverage.
Yeah, I really like Latios. Gives some nice speed to the team. Gives the special pressure, which this team really needed. I think this is a solid pick. 52 isn't too bad for 3 mons being picked, but they do need to be a little bit careful in their next picks. But I like how they're going.
After Latios, I think Matt's here. Oh my gosh, more Gen 8. Is Matt still here? Matt is here.
Dragged him in.
Cinderace. Or not Cinderace. We already have Cinderace. Why did you pair 2 fire types?
Scorch. I'm not. I don't understand the 2 fire types. Not gonna lie. Scorch. He looks so much faster than he is, which I don't like. I don't quite understand this pick. I know I don't know Gen 8 too much, but it's like it's bulky, but it's a mostly physical fire type. Firebug is a good typing. We know that from Volcarona.
It dies to stealth.
I don't know. It gets Fire Lash. That can be useful. Gives some nice Will-O-Wisp. I don't understand this pick with Cinderace already on the team, though.
Matt,
I guess they do have Seismitoad, though.
Matt, explain for us. Matt.
Matt,
Matt.
I think he stepped away.
Dang it, Matt. We'll come back to him with round five, his round five pick eventually. Um, put him back in the jail cell. After that, the Seattle Mariners, after Hydreigon, Mega Mawile, Rheonoclast, picking up Tentacruel. I remember this pick very thoroughly. So he got Tentacruel, and you'll see a pick of mine come up that he really wanted to get this pick. Because Tentacruel is definitely more better for his team in my opinion. Gives him a water type, gives him a poison type, gives him rapid spin, gives him a lot of options you can play with Tentacruel. You don't just have this is not a one-dimensional mon here.
Matt saying he was silenced again, but Matt, we pulled you and we talked to you. But yeah, I really like Tentacruel. It has pretty decent damage it can do. It's nice and bulky. I really like it. I've used it before. Very specially defensive. I think this complements his team nicely. He needed some bulk. He does need physical bulk though. That's a big part that his team is lacking.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. So, excuse me, long day. After Tentacruel, Toronto Tepegs, picking up Alma Mamola, the wall from the deep sea that if this thing didn't have good stats, no one would ever draft it. But here we are, and this thing has Regenerator. And oh yeah, guess what? He has Tangrowth too. So we
Yeah,
got
I felt disgusted when this pick happened. Just it's so bad. Like I don't like Alomomola. I don't think it's a good mon, but it's Regenerator, and it's Regenerator with Tangrowth. Um, though here's the problem with Toronto is they've now moved up in the world. Their fastest mon is now Alomomola. I get that they have Trick Room, but relying on Trick Room is never a good idea.
oh yeah, especially when you can, especially reverse trick room, or
Yeah,
just hey, I'll taunt you.
run counter. Yeah, you can taunt. I love the pairing with Tangrowth and Lomomola. This team is very bulky, not very fast, and it deals pretty decent damage, but not too much. So currently seems more of a nuisance to face than a threat, but we'll see.
So after a Momomomola, speaking about bulky stuff, Atlanta Shocks. I don't think JoJo's here still, but picking up Porygon 2 to pair with Mega Alakazam, Finny, and Victini. Porygon 2 has some moves. It also has this thing called Eviolite to where it makes it super bulky compared to Porygon Z, and it can really stall a team out if they don't prep for it. This is like something if they don't have fighting or they don't have like super strong stab, this thing sits on you with recover and toxic. And did I mention toxic?
And let's also not forget it still has 105 special attack with Tri Attack Stab.
Oh yeah.
So it can still mess you up. I would also like to point out Finley and the Toronto Pigs said they will probably never use Trickery. So I'm excited. um, but I think this is a pretty good pick. Obviously, the team doesn't have the best speed tiers. Mega Alakazam is fantastic. But then the others kind of just trickle off. Or not even trickle to heavy drop to like Victini.
Yeah.
But I do like the bulk he's getting. He has a good balance between bulk and damage, a bit more speed, and I think this team it already scares me.
Oh yeah.
He can smash through your team already and then stall out the ones you want to smash through his with. So I'm liking it.
And again, something we got to watch out for the teams, or what the teams would be watching out, is he's only down to 38 points, which isn't terrible. We've seen lower for 4 picks, but this is something to
But
keep
the
in
next
mind.
one we're going to see much higher.
Yeah, so Casey Keldios, with their 4 picks, they have saved 12 points. They're picking up a Raconid. More bugs. There's some fire problems. Or, well, there's a couple fire problems, but
Yeah.
Arachnid has some interesting plays you can do with it. First impression, which was its cool move, is now kind of all over the place, and it has some really nice abilities, and it's deceptively bulky. Like it can take some hits on, I believe, the special defensive side. It takes some hits.
It has 132 special defense.
Yeah, I thought so.
Only 68 HP, but it can take hits. Does a lot of damage. Fantastic Weber, and it was pretty cheap, which helps his team. My big problem though, again, is his team is because let's face it, in terms of damage, the best this thing can do is water bubble liquidation,
Oh yeah.
which don't get me wrong is very strong, but this team is still stuck in a very relies on Dragapult for special attacks, which is not what Dragapult seems to want to do.
No, it does not.
Oh yeah, and they're pointing out that this thing does not have first impression.
It does not have first impression anymore. Oh no, that's
Uh,
Gallisopod.
yeah, that's the better bug water.
That's the better bug water.
So I understand Sticky Web. I understand the point of Sticky Web because his team's not the fastest. Gives him some options with it and Scolipede, but I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of this pick. I can kind of see why it was drafted though.
Yeah. After Arachnid, we're going to Glasgow Gudras, and they're picking up Celebi here for the inferior mythical grass type to pair with Infernape, Mega Diancie, and Magnezone. Here now we finally figured out where the ground issues are coming with. Though I will give the Glasgow Gudras props if they do run air balloon Celebi. That would be hilarious. But Celebi, grass type, psychic type, dies to U-turn, but you really don't have to worry about U-turn when you have like 3 resists to U-turn.
Yeah. I like. I mean, I don't really like Celebi, but I think it's a decent pick here. Gives him a bit more bulk. He's starting to lean off in speed, like offensive speed some, which is a problem, but I don't think it's a bad pick at all. I would have preferred the Guja that was sniped, but I do like this pick. I don't think it's the best pick, but I don't think there's anything I have to complain about necessarily.
Not at all, especially around here. Speaking about people who make poor life decisions, let's get a rapid spinner and a rocker and a ground type and Dawn Fan go in for a Sylveon KC.
Oh,
Dawn Fan.
this was almost a snipe. It was a snipe for some. It was almost a snipe for me.
So if you're looking for like the most reliable stealth rocker and the most reliable rapid spinner, and you don't want to get Exodrill, that was like ungodly expensive. Dawn Fan's here for you. Dawn Fan's super cute. Look at that cute little face. He hits really hard. He has interesting coverage. Seed Bomb, Ice Shard. That's
Gunk Shot.
Yeah, Gunk Shot. That's not normally what you would expect from a ground type armadillo looking thing, but
And then I've used this thing for the most part. You're going to run a pretty standard Stealth Rock, Rapid Spin, Ice Shard, Earthquake. That's the standard set. But when you suddenly switch that up, slap on a band, nobody's prepared for.
Or I've seen Rock Polish work really, really well with Dawn.
Yeah. Dawn Fan is a great one.
And now, if you're looking at the team, you see, we have special attack, and now it's starting to look like physical attack and some physical defense.
This is when the draft started to go downhill for me. I've never been sniped this much in a draft. Right before my pick, Hariyama went. I was devastated. I've never seen this Mon drafted before, but I should have known Aria would take it when it was finally priced at 8, as it should be with the other fighting types. Such a good Mon. It's so fat. It gets thick fat. It's so fat. It's incredible. It gets thick fat, which is great. Sheer Force is great. Guts is great. All 3 of its abilities are fantastic. 144 HP, 120 attack. It does so much. It gets Bullet Punch. It gets Fake Out. It gets Heavy Slammed. Use its fat. This thing, it hits like a truck. Eats hits like a truck. I love Hariyama. So sad it's not on my roster, and I have to face it. But it's honestly, I think it's one of the best fighting types in League format.
I'm
It's
gonna
my personal favorite.
switch you to the next mon to talk about your Pokemon. I believe someone's been knocking at my door that I can't hear. So the next mon coming up for St. Louis Suicunes is going to be Galvantula, which was originally on my team, but I'm like, nah, let's try a different electric type this go around. So
Yeah.
explain why Galvantula makes a lot of people cry real fast while I go see what the knocking is.
Yeah, I love Galvantula. I recognized right after I drafted it, though, that I have two bug types already. Forgot about that. I made room on my plan to include this thing because Compound Eyes, Thunder, you just you kill things with it. Galvantula, it hits so hard. 108 speed. I mean, it's 97 special attack, but come on, Stab Thunder. Sticky webs. I understand it might not be the best webber in the game, but it's my favorite. It's got good speed to lay out the webs, and then it's got good attack to use the webs properly. Obviously, fast electric types are pretty much needed in this game, and Galvantula does that fantastically. It's got a fairly decent move pool, not the best, but I love being able to volt switch out pretty quickly after I get my sticky webs up. If I find a mon that allows me to set them up, I can just kind of leave. Uh, so
I'll
yeah,
set you to the
I'm
next
happy with this.
one as well. My landlord's here, and he's evidently showing people around for some reason. So the next Pokemon up is Incineroar for the Roman Polions, which makes me really sad because I have to face this thing a lot.
I really don't know much about Incineroar. It's got Intimidate, decent typing. Um, yeah, I don't know. But if Commander's going to be gone, I guess I can talk about stuff it gets. Um, it's got fairly well-rounded stats. I really like the Intimidate part of it. Obviously, Darkest Lariat is great, especially as a stab move, ignoring the stat changes of Pokemon and hitting very hard. Uh, Tons of coverage in terms of like close combat, Earthquake. This thing gets Leech Life, which is great. Stab knockoff. Uh, I really like fire types in general. I think this is a really good one. I think this helps his team in a way. Obviously, it's still not fast, which I don't like. I think this team really needs some more speed, but and I think it can. I think it can still get by. I think it's a good pick. Decent start on like fairly decent Firewater Grass core. So he's pretty close to finishing two cores here. So yeah, we'll just have to see how that goes.
I'm back. So, Tapu Koko, Skarmory, Salamence, and one of the strongest hitting fire type mons in the game for the Aston Villa Ampharos is being Darmanitan. I need to shut this door because they're still talking. But Darmanitan.
Yeah, this again is one of those mons that would have been a snipe if I hadn't switched up my plan.
Okay, Darmanitan, it hits like a truck. It's not having as much problems as the Galgarian Darmanitan seems to be having, but still, this is the thing. You choice ban this thing, and it runs through teams. You scarf this team, and it cleans up teams really well. It has decent moves for just what you think is a one-dimensional fire type Pokemon.
Yeah, obviously, Scarf or Band is how you'll usually use it, but it hits super hard. I really like this mon. I like how it's being paired up on this team. They're going to need to get some more special offense. Then again, this does get Zen mode, so maybe we're going to see Aston running that. But for the most part, I think these first four picks are very solid base to the team. I think they should prioritize on a strong special attacker though,
Oh yeah.
or like a wall breaking special attacker. But again, Zen mode can be that breaking special attacker, but I don't I don't I don't think that's going to be the go-to.
Oh yeah. So after that, to going around picking up a ground type and a dark type, and Crocodile. Crocodile would be the second Intimidate on the team, but it does have some more options other than that. It can hit pretty hard. It has access to sneak around really well. I don't know, still needing that special attack that Mop talked about on this team, but I mean, it was still a really good grab. I don't know what's the
I
point
mean,
total at.
he's
18?
he's dipped his points a lot. He's at 28, and he's got 28 points to
14.
try to grab. Um, it cost him 14 points, and he's got 28 points left to try to grab some wall breaking specials. I don't like that this shares abilities with his Salamence, except it gets Anger Point. We better see that this season. It once it pops off, you can't stop it. Yeah, I really like Crocodile, but I don't like it on I like it on this team, but not right now. I don't think this was the pick, but still great dark and ground type.
After Darmanitan, to help with Magirna, or not really to help with Magirna, but to be annoying, at least, is Hippowdon, which normally goes with, whatchamacallit, what's the word I want to say, sand teams. Yeah, that's usually what Hippowdon's doing. But it's also bulky. It can eat I've seen it eat Hydro Pump, which is scary to think about. And it also can slack things off and just recover HP no matter what.
Yeah, this gives him some nice. It gives him a good defensive mon to go with Latias. So now finally has something to just sit there and eat physical attacks, good physical. I'm not the biggest fan of Hippowdon. I thought, this wasn't worth the cost for the team.
Yeah.
But I do like this mon a lot. And I'm excited to see what he tries to do with it, but I don't know, this cost him 18 points? Yeah. So I'm not the biggest fan of this pick. I think there are other ground types he could have gone with. Or at least I did at the time. I can't remember a lot of them. But Hippowdon is very solid. Does what does very well. I'm just not sure if it was perfect for this. Actually, there is one that could have gone, and I'll talk about it in my next pick, but I really think examples, I think Golurk could have been decent, but that would have done a lot of attack.
Yeah.
But also Mamoswine to go with what I just picked. Because Mamoswine was cheaper than Hippowdon, but less defensive.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Mamoswine, Mop decided to go with the little fuzzy guy in Piloswine. Piloswine is slept on in a lot of draft leagues, and it can put in some work.
Yeah, you'll see I have 38 points left. The last one had 26. So I'm sitting pretty decently because this was only 6 points. I do really like Piloswine. I wanted Mamoswine, but I figured I needed this. My team needed a strong defensive mon. It had bulk, but it didn't have a kind of like a wall. And Piloswine can do that. Maybe not the best, but he can. And he still he gets a lot of boost with his Eviolite, boosting his 80 and 60 defenses. He still has 100 attack, and he has thick fat. So I do think this was a good pick. It might have been early. I actually really regret this pick because there was a mon I wanted more. But my logic was this typing was kind of irreplaceable, aside from the way more expensive option.
Oh, yeah. So after Piloswine, Krakenot Metal Sound, picking up Volcarona to pair with Hariyama, Metagross, Jolteon, Mega Sableye, and Dracovic. This is an interesting... It makes an interesting pairing with this team. There's not a whole lot that, he's missing at this point. He's a fairy type. That's a definite. Yeah, get that, please. But now you have a fire type with a water type and Dracovic. Now you're missing probably like a grass type. So grass and fairy is something you need to think about, but Volcarona works really well on a lot of teams.
Yeah, it gives them a very nice setup sweeper. This thing is slept on a lot. I think this is a good pick. Krakow scares me, but also it Metagross and Sableye are the only things that can wall. Well, Hariyama can wall to a degree, but it's mostly just fat. So some lower tier walls I think will make this team very scary. But they are sitting at 20 points, so they don't have too much they can grab.
Something to keep in mind here. Rocks wise, how they have it set up here is they have 2 rock resists here with Magic Bounce on Mega Sableye, but no hazard removal currently, I believe. And that's something pretty important for Volcarona, because you don't want to lose half your HP jumping in. Well, we have that new item now.
Yeah, heavy duty boots.
So I guess we'll see that, but it's something because it would be nice to have Volcarona. Well, I don't know if he's Z captain or not, but if it was, that will be something for teams to watch out for. Is he took damage, so maybe he's a Z Pokemon, or he didn't take damage from rocks, so we know it's not a Z move, Volcarona. Speaking about awesome mons, this was I think it was Jose who got the tentacle, and after I grabbed this little cute fella, he immediately was like, "Hey, can you get a different grass type, please?" Shaman is a lot of people pick Celebi over Shaman, and I can understand why. Celebi does a whole lot, but Shaman can put in some work. I wouldn't use it to try and like block a Earthquake or anything, but it has access to a wide variety of moves, and it's especially offensive. And now we're starting to see that this is more special blob for this team. I wonder when it's going to actually switch around. But Shaman does a lot for my team. It's something I always like to draft, and especially with the team that I was setting up here, it was a good fit for the team in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know much about Shaman. I like it. I don't like your team. I understand why it's good, but on paper it's not good. You know what I mean?
That's the point.
I understand it's very annoying to face though. So much bulk and damage.
So, after Shaman, oh look at this! The Glasgow Gudras are picking up the Gastrodon.
I love Gastrodon. I think I'm not the biggest fan of this Firewater Grass core, but it's not bad. Gastrodon, nice and Storm Drain. That'll be very useful. Gives them some solid bulk. I still think speed is missing from the team, but they have 30 points to try to remedy that. And I do like this team. I like the bulk that has been given, but nothing scares me about it at the moment.
I want to point out, if you're counting up points, we're looking at 28, 26, 38 for the Suicunes, 20 for Krakow, 42 for Sylveon KC, and now 30 for Glasgow. If you're keeping track at home. Gastrodon, it does some things really well, but grass types, granted, he has 3 grass resists at this point, so that's not something he'll really have to worry about, but Gastrodon joining the team for the Gudras. After that, Cresselia is being picked up in the KC Keldios to join Dragapult, Bisharp, Scolipede, Rakuten, and now it's like, let's draft someone who can actually hit with a special attack.
Yeah, this team needed this, and it gives it some good special bulk, which it had an Araquanid, but you don't want to force Araquanid to be your special wall. I really like this Mon. I've used it before. So bulky. I've noticed I forgot to center the name on that one, so that's kind of pissed off. But anyways, I don't know. I love Cresselia. I think this team really did need this pick, and they're sitting at still a fairly decent point total to finish out their draft.
yeah.
So I think this was definitely what they needed.
After Cresselia, Atlanta Shocks, which I think we're still missing Reggie for.
Still missing JoJo.
Yeah, JoJo. Picking up Reggie Steele to pair with the annoyingness of Porygon 2. Now we have Reggie Steele here, which I've seen like 6-0 stall a team before by itself, which is a load of shame. But it's going to be here paired up with Finny and some dragon type we've yet to see.
Yeah, in terms of low tier steel, this is the best one. I'm surprised this wasn't picked up by Krakow when they grabbed Metagross. I love Registeel. So it has a great move pool, so much variety in its attacks. It's very bulky, 115 both defenses, definitely the best of the Reggies. Really like this Mon. It's probably my favorite steel type behind Caesar, unless I'm forgetting about some Mons. If so, I'm sorry, but I love this thing. Again, though, Atlanta is going to need some speed, but I love the bulk they have going on. They now have multiple options for their walls because Porygon 2, Tapu Fini, and Registeel can all go either way in their walling. Yeah. Obviously, they have preferred ways they want to do it, except for Registeel. But all of them can wall however they want to.
Oh, yeah. So after that, the Toronto Tepigs picked up a coffee table from the pawn shop. This one's Avalugg, and Avalugg, this is a weird grab for a team that needs speed. Is now Avalugg the fastest Pokemon on the team now?
I'm pretty sure it's still Alomomola. Yeah, Avalugg is slow. I don't know. I like the pick, but Alomomola isn't really a special wall. It just eats anything. It actually has a lot lower special defense than regular defense. So currently they're sitting at the only thing set up to take all of the special hits is Hatterene. Otherwise, it's a very specially weak team. I'm not liking how the Toronto Tepigs are going right now. Not to say no team is particularly weak, but there are a lot of holes they need to fix with their last few picks.
Oh, yeah. After a coffee table was drafted, the Saddle Marainis took a fast fighting type in Minshao. Minshao does a lot with teams. I think it's a good fit for this team here. It allows him, he has two options for Scarfers, which Minshao normally runs Scarf or Bandit, or if you want to be funny, you run Berry with it.
Again, this is a Gen 6 team.
Yeah.
But I love Minshao. It does so much. I love the speed. It's another regenerator. He's got double regenerator going on.
Oh, yeah.
With Reuniclus. He really needed some more speed on his team, but he didn't have much in the first place. I really like this pick from him.
I'm going to make sure because I think Matt's coming up here in a second. He's still sitting there.
Yep.
After this is Matt. He can explain Morpeko, which at least is not another fire type.
Yeah,
it could have been another fire type, and it would have been fine. I don't know why I couldn't be heard in the last round.
I don't know either.
But anyway, Morpeko. See, let me give you a little glimpse into my brain during this pick. I was looking at Boltund and Morpeko for electric types, and I realized that Morpeko, while not having Strong Jaw, does get Ice Fang, while the other Boltund does not. And I was like, that seals the deal for me. I think Morpeko actually gets a lot of really unexpected moves. Like, it gets like every Fang. It even gets Psychic Fangs. Yeah, it gets Seed Bomb. It even has Stomping Tantrum for ground coverage. It gets Outrage, yeah. It's crazy stuff. But it also gets a lot of cool stuff like Rapid Spin, Parting Shot, and Taunt, which I think are really underrated techs in a lot of competitive play. So, +1 speed with Aura Wheel, with also being 110 power, 100% accuracy. Really, really cool. Really cool move. And Gen 8 gang out.
Okay, thanks, Matt, for explaining some Morpeko.
Yeah, very nice
welcome.
speed. It seems like a good pick.
That's a great pick. Ooh.
I support this Gen 8 mon.
Okay, thank you.
And we'll catch you around for your 6th pick. Watch it be a fire type. After Morpeko, we're picking up Keldeo with the Rocky Mountain Heavy Metals to pair with Ferrothorn Latios and Landorus. This is an interesting grab here. It cost a butt ton of points, this team does. I mean, 4 picks and he's down to 34 points, but it's still a pretty good-looking team here.
Yeah, I like all the offense. It's going to need some more defense, but Ferrothorn is holding off that line pretty good. Keldeo, I'm liking it. I mean, this team still pretty Bolt Beam weak. Ferrothorn doesn't save it.
I think we lost Mop again. I think I lost you again. Hold on.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, there we go. We lost.
I was just complaining about Bolt Beam.
Okay. Yeah, that's something they'll have to worry about. I mean, you got Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, Flamethrower, or Ice Beam if it's like a strong Ice Beam to deal with. And we'll see what he does to flip that around here. After Keldeo, not something you see usually after Keldeo. The Dark Sentinels picking up Yuxi to pair with Klefki, Thunderous, Megalop, and T-Tar. Yuxi does have its fair uses, not gonna lie. It's a pretty decent mon. I don't know how many points it costs.
It makes Tyranitar not the locked-in rocker, which is always a good thing.
Oh
yeah. They don't have many points at 26 right now, which isn't good. But they needed more defense, and I really like that they added that. I think Uxie is a pretty solid pick for the Dark Sentinels.
Oh yeah. After Yuxi, if it doesn't feel like I'm trying to rush this, it's because we're like 45 minutes in or something. How long have we been going? Drum roll.
We've been going pretty long.
We've been going for 2 hours right now, and we're only in round 5. So after Yuxi, Mega Absol going for the Chicago Beartix. I have to face this thing coming up here. Mega Absol, super fast. Has magic bounce, which is really nice. It can do a lot of things, but I've also heard it dies to banded quick attack. But don't tell them that.
Yeah, Mega Absol I've never seen pop up, but I know it can. I like the pick. They needed the speed a lot. So I really like how they're going there. I don't have many complaints. Magic Bounce is going to be useful. This thing hits really hard. And I think they're definitely going to find a strong use for this.
Oh yeah, Mega Absol will definitely do quite a bit. And yes, Ark, I knew you were listening. That's why I said it. After that, the Twin Leaf Titans to... Oh my gosh. Can this team ever speed up? We got Bulu, Kiram, Buzzwole, Alola Muck, and now we got Bronzong here. Which, I mean, Bronzong does a lot for teams, not gonna lie. It can levitate, it's heat proof, but...
It's better than Metagross in my opinion. To be fair, he needed a just wall-breaking physical mon. So Bronzong is very good in that regard. Still physical for the most part, but gives him some defenses, gives him a spinner and a rocker. So I don't know. I guess it's not a spinner. I keep thinking it is. But I do really like this mon. Gets Calm Mind. Yeah, I think this is I think this is going to help him round out his team better, and he does have 40 points to fix, but we've been complaining.
Oh yeah. So after Bronzong, it's not the Gengars, but it's because this is the new coach. What?
They're the New York Cosmogs now.
New York Cosmogs. Picking up Roserade to join with Garchomp, Mega Arrow, Necrozma, and Celesteela. Roserade, decent speed, decent grass type. I think it pairs pretty decent with... I mean, it's nothing like...
They needed more special attack.
Yeah,
Necrozma and a Celesteela are obviously good at that, but definitely helps.
And then gives them access to Toxic Spikes if they want to be cheeky like that. and some spikes and other cool things that Rose Raid can do. But it also has offensive things like Technician and a lot of sadness of watching your Pokemon die from it. After Rosa Raid, it was flipped around, and we're down to 16 points after 6 picks. Spiritomb, which I've seen Spiritomb doing some pretty cool stuff, but I've also seen Spiritomb die in a hit because it switched into a banded return. Also, I think I lost Mob again.
Oh no, I'm here.
Okay, nope, you're still here.
Just replying to a text. Yeah, Spiritomb. I like it. It's a pretty good mon. I was complaining that he needed more bulk, and here it is. I understand the replacement coach didn't have as much to work with. I think so far they're rounding out their team pretty nicely for what they were given. It doesn't scare me. I mean, it scares me, but not as much as it could. But I don't know, I'm liking it. I'll probably still lose to it, but
After Spiritomb, we have the British Weezing here to join the team that needs speed. Let's just draft Weezing with it. So I believe this is Fairy.
it's Poison Fairy.
Poison Fairy.
And its hidden ability is Misty Surge. Just want to point that out. It gets Levitate and it gets Neutralizing Gas, which makes all abilities nullified. It's pretty defensive. I don't know like anything about it, but we were complaining that it needed bulk, and so I'm happy it's gotten some more. It needs special attack. That's a must for this team, but one step at a time.
Also, it'll be interesting to see Bulu and that Misty Surge if that starts conflicting with anything that the Twin Leaf Titans try and do with double double terrain.
Yeah.
After that, Shigato Beartix for their 6th pick picked up Blastoise here, so a bulky water type. That can do. I almost said rock spin. Can spin away rocks. It's a solid pick for the team, in my opinion.
Yeah, I personally prefer Wartortle to Blastoise, but I think this is a pretty good pick. Aqua Jet for priority, very nice. Or I can't remember the name of it. Aqua Ring, yeah. Aqua Ring is very, like, I understand no one uses it, but I personally like it. I think it's pretty nice. Because it can just sit there, especially with Rain Dish. But I think it's pretty good. I'm liking the balance between bulk and speed as this team goes on.
In the chat, they were saying "wheezing gentleman."
And Ark agrees with me on my Wartortle decisions.
Okay. After Blastoise, speaking of starters, this is a Pokemon that was my backup for Shaman, so I'm glad I got Shaman. Sceptile. Going to the Dark Sentinels, as now they need a fire type and a water type, but they have this is a lacking core. But Sceptile joining them, Unburden, is pretty darn cool in Draft League format. If you've never used it before, you probably haven't been swept by it then.
Yeah, I don't know, not too much, to use Unburden easily, but Sceptile has always seemed interesting to me. I've never used it or faced it outside of, playing Oris. Yeah, it seems like an interesting mon. This team, I'm still not a huge fan of the team. I don't think it's too bad, but I don't know. Again, something about it just doesn't jump out at me. I don't like the Klefki pick. That's my biggest issue.
The sad thing is Klefki's is only fairy resist right now, and that could backfire really fast. Maybe I'll play them. I think I actually played Dark Sentinels. That will be nice. After that, we're getting another fairy. Rabombi, this was a steal. I think this was
This
like
was 6 points
6 points. This should be like 10 points.
for an insane sticky lever.
That's
I was going to pick it up if I didn't, already have a bug and a fairy type.
yeah.
Uh, inc- it hits pretty hard. It's very fast.
It sets up like
Um,
a lot.
it gets Quiver Dance, gets Aromatherapy, it gets Defog, it gets Calm Mind, gets U-Turn, it gets Tailwind. This thing, this area, how dare you put this thing in 6 and then take it?
Um,
I don't. It's 2 bug types in a row. I'm not the biggest fan of that. He's got an interesting Fairy Dragon Steel going on.
yeah, it's a very interesting one.
They're not bad, but they don't work as a core together. We've got a snipe in the chat. I don't know who to Flaming Spade is, but it's a snipe for them.
Yeah, Rabombi's good. Again, we discussed it with Volcarona.
Oh, that's
Hazards are
the
gonna be
Atlanta Shocks. Yeah, I remember
okay,
them
Jojo.
playing.
Not Jojo. Yeah, Jojo. Watch out hazards here, but maybe we'll see. I mean, is there even hazard removal right now? I don't think there is. There's magic bounce. That's something to keep in mind. After that, we got Mr. Cramorant with Boston Weasels, and I think we have Matt here. Why he wants to chuck Pikachus at people.
What'd you say about Pikachu?
You said you draft Cramorant. You're wanting to chuck Pikachus at people.
Oh yes, absolutely. I just did not understand what that was. Oh man, yeah, that threw me off. Kramer just sounds so cool to me. I'm just really excited to use it in general. So I thought I'd draft it for this draft and have fun with it. It's such a goofy thing, and I don't think anyone really understands everything about it. And I'm going to try to use that madness to my advantage.
I'm surprised you didn't draft a fire type, but now you're on your second water type, so you're like, fire type, water type, fire type, water type. You're going.
He's going to get a double
alternate.
fire water grass core.
Exactly. That's the plan.
Who needs one when you can have 2?
But, this thing, the only weakness my other water type has is grass. This one is not weak to grass.
You're not wrong.
And the Seismitoad blocks the electric weakness and the rock weakness. So, don't know. There's a little synergy there.
Just a little.
Just a little.
Okay, well.
I'll be diving on everybody.
Power Herd Dive inbound.
Oh,
yeah. First.
I'm going to steal that.
Okay,
That's a good one.
We'll get back with you when you draft, like, I don't know, Reboot or something.
Oh, yeah, Reboot's next.
Okay. Thanks for stopping in, Matt. After that...
Here is the second snipe for me, or the third. Licky Licky.
And this is Seattle Marini's here.
Yeah, I believe this was 4 points. Incredible Wish Passer because it's half of its HP, and Licky Licky has 110 HP. It's so fat. It does so much damage. People sleep on this thing. It has insane coverage. Very good Wish Passer, like I said. Does so much damage. Gets Dragon Tail. Gets Gyro Ball. Like, people sleep on this thing. It's so good. It needs to be raised if it is that far, and I'm pretty sure it is. Love this Mon. Was sniped by it. I think it fits his team pretty nicely, too. He needs walls, though, would be my issue. Sitting at 30 points and no walls still.
Yeah.
After 6 picks, but...
I mean, he still has 30 points. That we've seen a lot worse point total-wise to try and do this stuff with this, but... Yeah, Licky Licky being that cheap also helps that regard. After Licky Licky, more normal types were taken, as the Toronto Tep-Pigs grabbed Autono, which I think was just 2 points. So they grabbed... Is Autono now the fastest Pokemon on this team?
Let's see. Nope, it's still a Lomomola.
Oh my gosh.
This was my replacement, if Licky Licky went, so thank you. It's good. It's bulky, good wish passer. Again, this team just it it's going to be outsped by literally everyone. Like that's an issue. And even if it wasn't, I don't like quite how it's being put together. It's another regenerator mon. It's got 3 regenerators, which is terrifying. So I think that's the current game plan for this. But because of that, it's been lacking offense since the first 2 picks, technically 3.
So we're going to be expecting Dewosion come here eventually. After Audino, how about a grass type that's really good? Alana Shock's picking up Superior. Superior is a very scary Pokemon. I don't know how much it cost. If it costed like 16 or less, that's a decent pickup. Superior, Contrary is a very, very good ability, especially paired with Leaf Storm, to where you just gain special attack because you can.
Yeah, we're just talking about how this team needs more offense. At this point, I'm really liking this pick. I won't say loving just because he's at 10 points and still in need of more physical attacking.
Yeah.
Because his only physical wall breaker is that Victini. It's the only physical threat, I would say. You could argue Registeel, but that's the only argument you can make. Other than that, though, I'm liking how the team's panning out. Just it's on 10 points left, so.
Yeah, and you gotta get 3 Pokemon with those 10 points. At least, if not more, but I don't think he's gonna get any more than that. So after Superior, Casey Keldeo picking up Tornadus Eye. It's an interesting grab for this team. I don't know how much I like it, but
I mean, it gives them special attacking, which is good. Gives them Prankster, which never a bad thing. I mean, it also gives physical attack, but I assume this is more of a special mon. It gives good offense. My problem is they're sitting at only one wallish mon. So I understand not everyone likes walls, but I personally think they're very useful. Otherwise, because point differential is so important,
oh yeah.
especially in leagues set up like this one for playoffs. So I don't know, I guess it isn't all of them, but I like this pick. I would have preferred to see a physical wall here, but I don't think this is a bad pick.
So after Torn Eye, the Glasgow Googers picked up Noivern. So, how about some speed to go with your Gastrodons and Salamence and stuff
This
like
team
that?
needed speed and it grabbed it. I'm very happy with this pick by them. It gives them do they have a fair? Yeah, their Fairy Dragon Steel is Mega Diancie, Magnezone, and Noir. So maybe not the best, but it's certainly not bad.
Oh no.
I love the speed it's got him. I don't know. I just think it's pretty solid and yeah.
I'd agree with that.
I'm liking how the draft is playing out. Again, I'm not scared by the draft, but it's very, very solid. I would say maybe it would be. I'm not sure about top 5 because I can't remember all the teams, but definitely like maybe a top 7 draft at this point.
We talked about how Rabombi was 6 points. You know, another thing. Oh, we're not even getting to that yet. So this is just a grab that I always seem to get. I need a poison type. I need a dark type. Drapion, like, I don't know if you've ever paired it with Sylveon before, but it's one of the best pairings, in my opinion, you can get. Drapion normally being a T4 Mon. It was only 10 points this go around, which I think was the same as Shaman, which is a little cheap, but Drapion has a large move pool for what you think it might do. It can handle quite a lot of things. Also, Shuckaberry allows it because, like, you look at this thing, oh, it's very attackive, and this thing has like 110 base defense, I believe, if I remember my math right. Its defense is really good.
Yeah, I think you covered everything about Drapion there.
Also, as you're looking now we're looking more physical attack, and that's the second. Well, it's the second, but don't tell them about the third one. Physical attacking Mons on the team, and it pairs really well with Sylveon. That's all that really matters. We'll get to what I was alluding to here in a little bit. Yeah. So Krakow, Metal Sound, pick it up. Ditto here. They got 6 points left, And Ditto, so it was kind of funny that Ditto went this late because in the other league I'm in right now, Ditto went pick 5.
Oh, that's too early.
That's way too early. And Ditto here, um, Ditto allows a lot of things. I mean, he's still missing hazard removal here, as we discussed earlier. Ditto really can't do that unless it like comes in on a hazard removal person. But Ditto's good Pokemon anyway for people who don't know how to face it.
Yeah, Ditto. It's pretty solid. I think I'm not sure if it's the best on his team, but I do think it's a good one for it.
After Ditto, here's a
This
steal.
pick,
Here's a steal right here.
I only picked this one. It's 4 points. So I was looking at it. I picked it this early because right before my pick, JoJo goes, "Hey guys, look what's only 4 points on the dock." And I'm like, okay, so I have to pick it now, which ended up leading to the mon I wanted the most getting sniped. So thank you, JoJo. Very cool. But anyways, Miss Magius, I needed more speed. Well, I didn't need it, but my team wants more speed. It wants more special attack. I think this was a solid pickup. Maybe not right now, but it's got pretty decent bulk. Yeah, this is also sniped from JoJo, but come on, it's your fault, man. Can't tell me it's not. It was on my draft plan anyways. Yeah, very solid mon. 105 special defense, 105 speed. I don't know, I really like it. You can spam shadow balls. Yeah, I'm very happy with it.
Evidently, JoJo did not like his Porygon 2 pick because he literally just traded for it for Honchkrow. So
Yeah.
we'll keep that in mind when we get back to his team. After that, the Roman Polions. This is an interesting grab for this team. Picking up Stoutland. Stoutland gets slept on a lot. It can do things, but it's also not like the most versatile.
I mean, it gives him a mon with Sandrush or not Sandrush.
Sand, I think it might be Sandforce.
Yeah, it is Sandrush.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought it was Sandrush.
I couldn't remember, but yeah, so that's useful. Gives him a bit of like tech he can surprise people with in the game. I don't think it's the best pick, but it's certainly not bad. I think it helps him. His point total is getting low. It's stabilizing a bit now. I think it's a pretty solid pick.
After Statland, Aston Villampharos is picking up Hitmontop, and then after that picking up regular Sableye as the two together. So we have some hazard removal, even though they already have Skarmory. And then we have Sableye, which is Prankster. It can do things.
This was a snipe from me. This was my replacement Hirayama. This was not a good draft for me.
At the dentist. They're trying to get Jose to join the call while he's at the dentist.
At this point, Aston needs special attackers. They've got Tapu Koko and Zenmo Darmanitan, and that's about it. Yeah. They have some bulk, but their only wall is Skarmory. I like all the mons on their team, but I don't like their team too much right now.
Yeah, I could agree with that. So after that, Roman Polion picking up Eldegoss.
First, actually, we have Aston grabbing Sableye.
I showed both at the same time, so.
So Sableye doesn't fix any of the holes we were just talking about, but it does add support to the team, which they did need a support on. Yeah. Now let's go to Eldegoss.
Now it's Eldegoss, which I can't spoil my prep for this, but Eldegoss, grass type, handles. I mean, he didn't really have an earthquake weakness to begin with.
This confirmed a panic pick for me because Eldegoss was my replacement for what I did grab. I don't know, it doesn't seem bad. It can put people to sleep, which is always nice. It has 120 special defense, 90 regular defense. It lowers speed when hit by an attack, and it has Regenerator and Effect Spore. So, very nice. Regenerator grass types are great. I think this is pretty good. He needed another special defense mon, so Latios could be an attacker. I think it's a pretty solid pickup. though it did cost him half his points.
Oh yeah. So after Eldegoss, we got little Tangrowth's little kid, I guess. St. Louis Suicune's picking up Tangela. This actually gets drafted quite a bit in the leagues I'm in, so it doesn't surprise me it came here. But Mop can explain why the little
Yeah,
ball
so
is here.
Tangrowth got sniped from me, so I was like, great, I got Tangela. It's still very nice. I know I have two Eviolite Mons on my team, but I still think it was good. Regenerator. Sure, it's weak to Ice and Fire, but I on my team, which but Tangela's a solid pickup, super cheap again. 4 points.
I'm losing
Might
him
be
again.
smaller. And yeah, I don't think it's a bad pick.
So after Tangela, Krakow Metal Sound picked up a Snowflake in Cryagonal, which ended their draft. So, did they get? I mean, Cryagonal can get rid of hazards, but it's also weak to them.
I'm not. It's going to be interesting to see how Krakow plays. Obviously, Ariel knows what he's doing, but I don't know. It's I'm not the biggest fan of the team. A lot of the Mons seem kind of out of place. Like Volcarona and Rabombi seem to do the same thing because Sticky Web doesn't seem to be a main push on this team. Jakovic is just kind of there. I don't know. It's not my favorite team. I still think it's going to punish people a lot throughout the season.
Yeah, I would agree with that at least. So after that, I was alluding to this earlier. What was also 6 points after Rabombi is Meloetta.
Oh, another snipe!
Meloetta coming here with 6 points. This is also my Z user. Surprise, surprise. It was either that or Gudra, and I went with Meloetta here. Meloetta can do special very well. It can also switch forms to do physical and be very fast, very well. And with a Z move, it has a very large move pool. And it's led me to close to playoff runs, but I didn't have anything to back up Meloetta. And now I have things to back up Meloetta. And I'm very excited. These first 7 Mons are probably the best 7 I've drafted in a league in a row. Like, none of them got sniped from me. It was like, I want Sylveon, Suicune, Gudra, Donphan, Shaman, Drapion, Meloetta, and I got all 7 in a row. Everything else was just...
You needed the attack, so it's very nice.
Oh yeah, Meloetta was perfect for me. Sorry, my mother's sending me pictures of my cats. Speaking of cats, wow, that was an interesting switch. Glasgow Gudra's picking up a Alolan Persian. So Dark type, Alolan Persian has some interesting tech if they pull it off properly, but it's an interesting pairing to the team here.
Yeah, I mean, it gets Fur Coat, so it gets more defensive, but also gets Technician. I guess technically they can use Rattle, but I don't think they will. Parting Shot is really nice. I still don't get the point of Alolan Persian, not gonna lie. But it's here.
It's here. Somehow. After Alolan Persian, Keldeo, or Casey Keldeo, picking up Mudsdale to join the ranks of... I mean, they have all the physical. I think another special would have been fine, but here we are with Mudsdale.
Yeah, I mean, I did say I wanted a physical wall, so I'm really happy that they grabbed one. Mudsdale's good. Stamina, pretty fun ability. Very annoying to try to take out. It's I wouldn't say better than Donphan at all, but I would say this is a very good replacement Donphan. Hits hard, takes hits hard, sets up rocks. I think this fits his team pretty well. I think it's really rounding out some of the stuff he has. Again, their only special Mon. Well, Tornadus is special. Yeah, Cresselia is special. I do think they're going to need another to really round this out, but
And they only have
I'm liking where it's
They
going.
have 10 points for that, so we'll see what they do.
Yeah.
Atlanta Shocks. Speaking about special mons, Atlanta Shocks picking up an electric type, which is leaving them before joining a very interesting group. I mean, yeah, this is where Porygon 2's no more, and it's now Honchko, which makes sense if you look at their team and you realized that right now they got 1, 2, 3, 4 ground weaknesses and 1 resist.
But at the time,
But
this is what we're working
yeah,
with.
at the time,
And their resist doesn't want to take EQ.
no, Superior doesn't want EQs. Don't give Superior EQs.
But Electivire's not bad. Pretty decent move set. Nice and electric type. It's actually a physical attacker though, but at least for the most part. And they did want another more physical wall breaking mon, so I do like that. I like Honchkrow a lot better, but yeah, I think it's a pretty solid pick.
After Electivire, more Eviolite mons as the Toronto Tepegs. I think Gligar now is the fastest Pokemon as Gligar gets drafted. So we're going up in the speed world right now.
Yeah, Gligar is now their fastest at 85. Very nice. Can actually outspeed things. I like Gligar. My first team was the Detroit Gligars. It's a good mon, very nice with Eevee. Like its U-turn does essentially the exact same thing that Gliscor does. I mean, again, like this team still has a decent Volt Beam weakness, not terrible, but decent. It's lacking offense though. Gligar can try to do offense. It has 75 attack, but Eviolite's too. It's not needed, but it's very nice to have.
Mm-hmm. I'd agree with that. After Gligar, Sienna Marini's.
Oh, the biggest snipe of my draft.
Talonflame. Sienna Marini's picked up a Fireburb, and it works really well with their team. Now we have a Fire type and a Water type, and if he had Shaman like he wanted, that would be a Grass type. But
if he had Tangrowth, that would be even better. But
yeah.
Talonflame, I love this mon. I really wish I got it. Oh, I would have made my team so much better. Love this mon. It can be offensive. It can be defensive. I think it was great even before heavy-duty boots came in, but now it doesn't have to deal with Stealth Rocks. And everyone's talking about, oh, Gale Wings got nerfed. Well, yeah, Gale Wings got nerfed, but still has 126 speed. I mean, come on. Fantastic typing. Oh, it's such a good mon. I'm so upset I didn't get that.
So after that, Matt can. Oh my gosh, he didn't draft a Fire type or a Water type or a Gen 8 mon. Matt can explain why.
Grass.
Yeah, I'm back.
He's back to explain why he had a big flower in his team.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't take all the Gen 8 Pokemon. I had to leave some for other people. But I was looking. I knew I needed a Grass type, and Vileplume was only like 6 points, I think. And it felt like a pretty good pick. It gets Strength Sap, which is pretty cool. And it's pretty defensive, but it also has really good special attack. And cool coverage moves like Moonblast. So it felt like a pretty good one to me. Not to mention being quote-unquote grounded poison type, so it can absorb the toxic spikes if anyone wants to try to pull that nonsense on me. So I was pretty happy with it.
It definitely rounds out the fire, water, grass core. Are you going to draft another grass type?
Exactly. I believe I have it on the plans, but I'll probably. I think I dropped that thing for a Gen 8 mon. So.
Yeah.
He wanted Blossom as well, and he's like, nah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
All right.
Give Vileplume Quiver Dance.
We'll get you back around the mountain with the next
pick.
I
just stay in here muted for now because I'll probably be gone during your next pick. But
okay.
But yeah, next up, Rocky Mountain grabs their Mega Pidgeot. This thing is slept on.
It is very slept on.
They're at 18 points to try to get some walls on this roster, but
they only have 5
this thing hits so hard. I really like it. I'm happy with it. I don't know. I don't think this could had to be the pick for them, but the speed is very nice. Special attack is very nice, and I think they're gonna like having it.
Also, we're more bolt beam problems arising.
Yeah, this is a very bolt beam team or
Um,
bolt beam week.
after
Um, yeah, go ahead and
Reaper.
continue. I will
Okay.
be back in a bit.
Okay, so after that, Delphox is coming up next for the Dark Sentinels. They're trying to fill out their fairy water grass core is interesting. Fire water grass core. So they're going for the generation, the starter Pokemon, and so they grab Delphox here. Delphox has some pretty interesting moves. It does a good chunk to a lot of teams if you don't prep for it properly, but it also can be just handled really fast. It gives them a special attacker, which, I mean, at this point now, they're pretty good with special attacking. Something that they need to keep in mind still is, well, here, nope, they just fixed it with, they needed a fairy resist, and now they just got it with Delphox. After that, we're going to switch on over to the Chicago Bearticks, who grab Rhydon here to join Lele, Corviknight, Arcanine, Zydoge, Mega Absol, Blastoise, and now Rhydon. Rhydon is pretty bulky. Eviolite is a pretty cool thing for it, and it allows the team to throw up some rocks, to whereas Mega Zygarde does not have to do that. And Rhydon will enjoy tanking a lot of hits and dishing out a lot of earthquakes. To continue quickly, Lantern. Oh, good old little happy Lantern guy. I think Lantern might be the... Nope, never mind. Kyurem's the fastest thing on this team. And we were talking about how, okay, we need some sort of, like, special attacking. Lantern does a pretty good job at special attacking. With two really good abilities in Water Absorb and Volt Absorb, and a good typing of Water and Electric. Lantern should do a lot on this team. And he also has a lot of points in the four Pokemon left to try and patch any other holes he's missing, including, things like a fairy type, or not a fairy type, a fire type. It's useful to say proper words. Speaking about more water types, coming for the New York Cosmogs is going to be Lapras. Getting the water type for grass water and missing a fire. I keep on saying fairy. It's what happens when you play Sylveon so much. Lapras does a really good job on this team, in my opinion. Something that he's going to have to keep in mind is Lapras can die really fast, and we're seeing a lot of electrical problems. Celesteela, Mega Aerodactyl, Lapras, and the only things that are allowing it's Roserade and Garchomp. Roserade doesn't really want to just take it. Garchomp can because of immunities, but you don't want to just try and predict Thunderbolt when Ice Beam can come at the same time. And the wheel hit is Aromatisse. We got more fairies inbound, and this fills out this is actually a very good fairy water. Wow. Fairy Steel, Dragon Core, Celesteela, Garchomp, Aromatisse. That's really good. I mean, Aromatisse, Clefable would be better, but Clefable was also ungodly expensive at 20 points. So, Aromatisse was a very good pickup here. Something that he's going to have to keep in mind is his Steel Resist is Celesteela. And Mega Aerodactyl dies to Steel, and Aromatisse dies to Steel. And nothing else really wants to take that besides, like, Necrozma. And Lapras dies to Steel. So that's something he needs to keep in mind. If he grabs like a fire type like he's supposed to, so like a 4-point fire type here to round out his draft would work great. Speaking about fire types, a Camel has appeared. As Mega Camerupt gets drafted for that's a fire, water, grass core. Mega Camerupt, Lantern, Tapu Bulu to pair with Kyurem, Tapu Bulu, and Bronzong for his 2 cores. Mega Camerupt, it's slow. It can do really well, but you have to be very smart with it. It's not something that you can just, I could slap moves and 252, be happy. No, you got to plan with this thing. Otherwise, it just kind of dies to water moves, which, if you didn't see earlier, he grabbed a Lantern, so water absorbs coming, folks. Beware of that. Matt, are you still in here, or were you the one talking?
I'm still here. Okay. I couldn't figure out how to mute myself, so I'm just being quiet.
Okay, you're good. The biggest mon on any slide. Wait, hold on. Lapras.
Yeah, the
Yep.
Lapras is huge.
Huge Lapras. Okay.
Camera's pretty big too, though.
Yeah, Mega Camel's pretty big as well,
Mm.
but nothing like Big Lapras. Speaking of Chicago Beartix picking up Manectric as their electric type, they needed. They needed an electric type. They needed some speed, and Manectric handles that for them really well. The one thing I can see is a problem for them is their hazard removal is the fantastic thing. Oh no, Corviknight might have defog, but other than that, hazard removal is magic bounce. I don't know if
Oh,
you've
they
ever.
have Blastoise too.
Oh yeah, they have Blastoise. Never mind.
Mm.
So yeah, something.
Oh, I should stay muted. I'm sorry.
It's okay. You're all good. Mop would be like face palming right now. But yeah, this team will be interesting. I'm facing it coming up, so I can't spoil anything about it.
Okay.
Speaking about interesting things, have you watched Wolf Glicky? Because you would know that
I
Jellicent
have.
has been kicking some major butt right now. And
Oh.
how about a fire water grass core of Delphox,
Right.
Jellicent, and Skeptile. That's
Okay. Yeah.
pretty darn.
All right in a row too.
Oh yeah, all right in a row. I'm surprised Jellicent went this late because it has Sap Sipper
Yeah.
or not Sap Sipper, Strength Sap now.
Yeah, Jellicent's like definitely underrated.
Also, something that the Dark Sentinels will have to worry about is, you have Mega Lopunny, but other than that, Yuxi, Delphox, and Jellicent all die to Shadow Ball, Mop, if you're listening, you're going to want to bring Miss Magius against this team, just let you know ahead of time.
Yeah. Nasty plot.
Okay, Nasty Plot, Shadow Ball. Nasty Plot, Shadow Ball, Hidden Power, Fire, something else. Psychic?
Psychic for the low punny, maybe. Or Dazzling Gleam.
Yeah, Dazzling Gleam, and that'll hit T-Tar as well.
Yeah, exactly. Alright. You're welcome. He's probably not listening.
So he has only 4 points for that, but we'll get to him later. After that, Rocky Mountain Heavy Metals picking up Galgarian Rapidash, which is Unicorn to pair. So we're missing bulk. That's something that keeps in mind, but we've finally not drafted something that dies to bulk being fire.
That's a good point, yeah.
Fire.
Not resisted, but not weak either.
Yeah. That's something that he'll definitely have to keep in mind. He only has he needs 2 more picks with 5 points, so a 6 and a 4. That's something to keep in mind right now for the Rocky Mountain Heavy Metals.
Right, yeah. He did go very heavy in points in the beginning of his draft. I noticed.
Very heavy.
But I think it's going to work out for him, though.
You're here to talk about Magneton.
Oh, I'm here.
Which is a very good pickup, in my opinion, so you could explain.
I know. Excited because I noticed it was only 8 points, and it's really it's definitely not as strong as Magnezone, but it is faster, which I think is pretty cool, and it does get the option to run obviously Specs and Scarf are really useful on it to trap the steel types and stuff. But I think Eviolite is also very useful because it is my only steel type since I waited a while to get that thing, but being able to use that steel typing and add a little bulk to it with Eviolite, I think it's going to be very useful. And this is going to be my Celesteela, Corviknight, Skarmory answer, which is definitely something that I do have 2 fire types, so what am I worried about?
Yeah, you just need to draft another fire type, don't worry.
Yeah, I'll get there.
Okay, so after Magneton, Gourgeist comes for the Seattle Marinis because, he got sniped of Shaman, so he had to go with Gourgeist here. Gourgeist does a lot.
I was thinking about Gourgeist. Gourgeist is really cool.
Tentacruel Talonflame Gourgeist is an interesting core there.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I think Jose is he's a very talented, competitive player, but he's also got a very, very cool team here. I'm a big fan of it. And having that spin blocker, having a grass type, plus, Will-O-Wisp, Shadow Sneak, Leech Seed are all really cool moves to have.
Corviknight, Arc is confirming that Corviknight does get defog, so that's something to keep in mind, which they definitely needed. So speaking of things with defog, here's the worst defogger in the whole world. We got Moltres here.
Hey, we can't be forgetting about Boots. All right. Because Boots makes it a perfectly fine defogger.
which now I think Moltres might be the fastest thing on this team. Congrats. He's like
Oh
slowly
yeah,
getting faster,
absolutely.
slowly getting faster. At the end, he
What
might
does
be
this thing
drafting
hit?
like Raichu or something.
I don't think it's even that fast. I think it only hits like 80 or 90 speed. So
90.
yeah,
There we go.
definitely a very slow team.
That outspeeds Gligar. That means it's the fastest.
Right, it's the fastest for sure.
Yeah.
Although it's funny because Avalugg was probably one of my biggest snipes for my draft,
You wanted a
and it's
coffee
funny to
table?
see. Yeah, man, it's so good now with boots, and it gets body press. I think body press was like really what it needed. But anyway, it's funny to see it be one of the faster Pokemon on this team. Anyway, Aaron.
So he also has only 12. He has 12 points for 3 picks. That's something to keep in mind. He's been doing his points pretty well so
Mm,
far.
yeah. I knew going in I wanted to get 11, and so I respect seeing someone else doing the same thing.
After Moltres, the Atlanta Shocks pick up Ariados.
Mm-hmm.
Not something you normally see drafted, but I think he only had 4 points left, so and he needed a
Yeah.
dark type, and
Yeah,
he needed
it does a few things okay.
yeah.
It's got sticky web. It's it can do toxic spikes, and that's fine.
Yeah, that's all he needed. It's not going to help
No,
him in the earthquake department, but we
no.
we already know that he fixed his earthquake problems a little bit more later on.
Oh, right, yeah.
No one else, excuse me, is being thrown in. So after that, Casey Keldio's picked up Ambipom. Ambipom
Mm,
is a great normal type that
yeah.
has use. I think it's skill link. No, that's where's it skill link?
It does get skill link, but
Okay.
it's not very good.
Yeah, I thought so. I've seen it being used, but Ambipom can hit pretty hard for a normal type. It's
Yeah, the technician fake out is definitely solid,
oh yeah.
and it gets a lot of cool. I think it gets like power up punch, a few other smaller like technician boosted moves that it can abuse. Definitely a really cool Pokemon.
The
I'm not going to
only
talk too much because this is actually who I'm facing on, so I shouldn't talk too much.
yeah, the only thing that is a problem with this team that we've talked about many times is the special attackers are Cresselia and Tornadus,
Mm.
and there needs to be some more special attackers in my opinion. You don't want
That may
Dragapult
or may
running
not
special.
be something that I've noticed in preparation.
Another Pokemon that was immediately dropped is the Glasgow Gudras. Picked up Pinsir.
Oh yeah,
Pinsir's an interesting grab to say
very
the
very
least.
interesting. This is one. Was this? Oh no. Okay, never mind. Yeah, Pinsir's a weird one. It does get Stealth Rocks, I believe.
Yeah.
So maybe that, but he already had Diancie. I don't know. It's a weird one.
I'm trying to see here what.
Maybe he thought he could Mega Evolve it.
Let me see.
That's my explanation.
I'm trying to find. He dropped it for something. Picked up Muck. So something
Okay.
to keep in mind here is now we got Muck, Magnezone, Mega Diancie, and Infernape all. Oh yeah, this is the team that we were saying that was air balloon everything. So
Right. Okay, yeah, I can see how that's a problem. But I do like Muck over Pinsir for sure.
oh yeah.
In terms of just a useful Pokemon.
After this, I sprouted my American wings and we drafted Braviary.
Oh yeah,
America.
great pick.
This was something that got sniped from me in the previous draft I did. And
Okay.
I'm like, well, it's 8 points. It's definitely worth it. It gets a little bit more move coverage in Gen 8. And it can
Yeah.
hit like a truck.
Yeah, doesn't it get like close combat now?
Yeah, it gets close combat.
That's pretty sick. That's sick.
It hits. I guess it's not hit like a truck. It's more like hit like a tank because it's Braviary.
Yeah. Yeah, Rare is. I've always been a kind of a low tier compared to like I like to play like RU and U, those tiers, and Braviary has always been a menace around there. So I always see it as like a huge threat in my eyes, and I think having close combat and having frustration back because it lost it in Gen 8, but of course we're playing National Deck, so it's going to have that back. I think it's basically like a slower, probably stronger Staraptor now.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
And definitely a cheaper Staraptor.
Yeah, cheaper for sure.
After that, Rocky Mountain Heavy Metals picked up Raichu. which, surprising, does not die to
Mhm.
the bolt beam flamethrower.
Hey, yeah. It's
So,
electric immunity, actually, with the
yeah,
lightning rod.
lightning rod that handles his electrical problems. Congrats.
Yeah.
He should call an electrician for any more problems, though. And
Yeah.
that it kind of fits the team really well. He has one more pick for
Yeah.
4 points. That I hope he gets some ice resist. That's not well. I hope he gets
Yeah.
some ice resist.
You know,
Otherwise,
I'm going to throw out this, Eric, if you're listening. Try bringing a Pokemon with the item Battery, I believe is what it's called, which boosts, I think it's boosts special attack or something if you get hit with electric type move. So
okay.
it could be the turning point for your game. Just
Oh yeah.
a free tip for you there.
After Raichu, this thing was drafted. Beware for the St. Louis Suicunes. Now, me and Mop are supposed to do an exhibition match at some point in time, and I was talking
Oh,
with
yeah.
my front office, and my front office was like, Beware kind of runs through your team, and that's kind of scary
Yeah.
from a Beware.
Yeah. Where's a scary Pokemon?
I mean, it just wants to hug you.
Yeah, but it'll never let go.
That's good.
A good late pick for a fighting type though, for sure.
Especially I know that he wanted Hitmontop and
Oof.
Hariyama.
Yeah.
And
Fluffy is a good ability.
Fluffy is a very good ability.
Yeah.
Something he'll need to keep in mind though, if it is as he is Fluffy, is he's starting to pick up a fire weakness.
Yes, very good thought. The Tangela, Galvantula, and Scizor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind.
I will. Electric types.
Especially if 2 fire types could potentially be disruptive.
Who knows? You might get a third. Rome and Polions are picking up Zebra Strike as their electric type here. It's not like the greatest electric type, but it does have its uses.
Yeah, it's solid. It's pretty good speed, and it's got cool coverage. It does get overheat, I believe.
Yeah, it gets overheat,
which is pretty cool.
Interesting.
And it does get 2 electric immunity abilities, be it Lightning Rod and Motor Drive, which, depending on what the matchup is you're up against, it could be they're both useful. It's a great small, low tier, cheap pick for electric type.
Oh yeah.
So
after that, the Aston Villa Ampharos has picked up a Selgor, which is an interesting grab on this team. I don't know if it was like the best move, but I mean it's a special attacker.
Yeah. I think I've always thought of it being one thing, and that's like a Spike's lead.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's probably what he's going to do with it.
Yeah. Something Yeah, okay. And then to round out his draft, he picked up ice cream cones.
Okay, yeah. Not a bad pick. For 4 points, too, that's not bad.
4 points, he picked up a bunch of ice cream cones.
It's dessert. It's the dessert to his meal.
Yeah.
Which is his draft.
They're gonna have to watch out. Is you got Vanillix and Crocodile that will not like fighting types. You're gonna see 1, 2, 3 fire weaknesses on some.
See, that's why I was picking up fire types all over the place. A lot of people got fire weak. It's all adding up.
After some ice cream cones, the Rome and Polions finished off their draft picking up regular Rotom. So
yeah, not bad.
I don't get Zebra Strike and then backed up with Rotom.
That's 2 electric types in a row, which is interesting.
Yeah, I mean it's not weak to Bolt Beam at least, so.
Right. And I think a ghost type is always nice to have.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's gonna round their draft off after Rome Polions. St. Louis Suicunes picked up Salazzle, which was a pretty good grab at this point in time.
Yeah. I was thinking about picking this up myself as well.
Yeah, you wanted
picking up my third fire type. Yeah. I think that was the only reason I didn't get up, because it was my third fire type.
Man, dang it, Mop. But definitely Salazzle's a good grab here. Its poison typing works really well, and it can just toxic everything.
Right, yeah, I love that. Like, you can run like corrosion with like substitute taunt, and I think that set can be pretty deadly against people that aren't prepared for it.
Oh yeah. After that, the heavy metals picked up your Pokemon Reboot.
Right, yeah, it was a big snipe. I'm not happy about it.
I mean, they immediately dropped it after the draft.
Yeah, I think this thing would be interesting if Libero was a thing, but unfortunately not in this draft.
Yeah, Reboot from Monferno, so secondary fire type for a secondary
Yeah.
fire type.
Yeah, exactly. That's interesting. I think Monferno is definitely a better. Well, I think Reboot doesn't get like Pyro Ball or Court Change, I don't think. So, yeah, probably better. And I've seen, it's very low tier, but I've seen like in like PU and NU, I've seen people do like Eviolite and Bulk Up Monferno, and it can do some work sometimes. I think it does. I think it does get Stealth Rocks, kind of like Infernape does too. So
yeah, that'll be
I
interesting.
feel like it was a good trade.
Okay, for people who actually have points to spend, Sylveon KC picked up a Lowland Raichu because Psychic
the
type,
better
Electric
Raichu.
type, and Speed, and
Yeah.
now it's understandable why there was so much bulk at the beginning, because now we've just gotten Braviary and a Lowland Raichu.
Yeah, I like this thing a lot. I think Lowland Raichu, it stopped everybody in their Sun and Moon playthrough at some point.
Yeah.
And I think it's definitely one of the weirdest Pokemon out there, but definitely something that people underestimate sometimes.
Also Pancakes.
Also Pancakes. God, exactly what I was talking about. One of the weirdest Pokemon.
Glasgow Gudras picked up Frostlass next, which Frostlass is a decent Pokemon. Something that they're gonna have to watch is, well, no, never mind. They don't have to worry about ground weakness, but rocks are starting to now be an interesting thing to look at with Noivern. Of course, Spencer they traded out Frostlass.
Yeah, you know what? They could run a Boots Noivern with Defog, and that could be their answer. But I'm a big fan of the Frostlass. I was definitely considering this one as well. I was really hoping to get a Ghost type towards the end of mine, but as you'll see, I was not successful.
I'm just checking the chat real fast.
But yeah, Frostlass, I think with the spikes and the taunt, I think is a really solid setup lead thing. And Ice Beam Shadow Ball is pretty cool dual stab too. So it's not a bad Pokemon. I'm a big fan.
After Frostlass, the KC Keldios finished off their draft getting Argeotops.
Oh yeah.
This is something that a lot of people see defeatist and like, nope, we're not drafting that. But if you can play with it well, it's a good Pokemon.
Yeah, run this thing with like a Citrus Berry or one of the bigger berries, or give it Roost. And I think you can. I mean, obviously it's still a problem, but you can work around it a little bit. And just how hard it hits before that defeatist becomes active is pretty crazy. And it does get a few other cool things, like it has Endeavor, Stealth Rock, obviously. I believe it does get Defog. So I think it's a sleeper pick. So.
Something, again, as now the draft's done, Cresselia and Tornadus, the only special attackers.
That's right, yeah. Again, this is the team I'm up against. Week 1.
We'll leave it silent for you.
Yeah, I may or may not be aware of the weaknesses of the team.
Speaking about Rotoms, Rotom Fan was picked up. So another electric type, double electric typing up here, Electivire and Rotom Fan.
Very interesting.
Fixed some of the earthquake issues that were arising, but
yeah, you could still run Air Balloon on this though.
Yeah,
I think at that point it stops 1,000 arrows as well. If your ability is Levitate, you're a flying type, and you have Air Balloon. I think that's when the game's finally like, okay, I guess we can. This won't work. But interesting. Did Did anyone draft like Rotom Wash or
No.
Rotom Mow? That's interesting.
No
So
Rosh, no Mo, no Heat.
no Heat either. Damn, only the low coming out. Interesting.
Yeah.
I like it.
Wait until someone drafts Refrigerator Rotom.
Oh please.
The Toronto Tepigs.
Bolt Beam incarnate.
Toronto Tepigs picked up Garbodor here. Garbodor is not faster than Moltres, so they went backwards.
They have one more or two more picks potentially.
Yeah.
To see if they can break the 100 speed tier.
Yeah.
I don't have much hope.
I don't like this pick.
Mop has returned.
Did you guys trash talk on my Salazzle Beware?
No.
No. I was big fans of both of them.
Very nice.
Yeah, I'm a very. My
this
favorite
team
tier
is just all the same thing, just different types.
Yeah, like I like Garbodor as a Pokemon in that it can do a lot of cool things. But yeah, the team it's on this team, it definitely doesn't really fill a new role.
We'll move on from trash to Vikavolt for the Seattle Marinis. I'm gonna let you two talk while I go run and do something real fast.
Yeah, the Marinis definitely needed a strong boost to their special attack, and here it is.
I think
I would say they need more, but at the same time, this thing it has what, 145 special attack?
Yeah, it's definitely 140 or 145. I'm a big fan of this. In my previous draft league, which was only an RE draft league, actually, I had a really good time using Vikavolt. And it does get sticky web this generation too, which is really cool. But also being able to use, I think I used like Rocky Helmet on this thing, and it actually worked out pretty well. And it gets agility, so a lot of really cool, interesting sets you can run on this thing. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. It just sounded so quiet.
Yeah, I do like Vikavolt or Vikavolt. Yeah. Have they moved on to the slide? Nope. So we gotta wait until we talk about the one I couldn't fit it on the slide.
Wait, what are we talking
about? The next pick, you'll see. But
okay.
But yeah, I do think this was a solid pick. As we take more time, I want this to end so I can eat food. But but yeah, I'm really liking Seattle's team so far.
Oh yeah, definitely, probably one of my favorite teams, other than my own, obviously. But it definitely looks like a really good, scary team, and I'm actually very upset that Jose is in my division.
Speaking about your team, Matt, you can explain why you wanted Surfetch.
Yeah, this is what I could not fit.
Yeah, because this is big leak. One thing I was missing on my team was fighting, and Surfetch was just sitting there like, "Yo, what's up?" So
I'm a Gen 8 Mon.
Come on over, yeah.
Only if I was a fire type as well.
Yeah, I know. If only it was firefighting. But I think Surfetch'd is probably what made Pokemon Sword sell more than Pokemon Shield. So I'm hoping that he can bring that same energy to my draft. But actually, okay, jokes aside, I think it's got some really cool moves. Like, it does get first impression. So I got some priority with him. And then he's got like 130 base attack with Scrappy in close combat. So that's really tough to switch into. And yeah, I think I just needed a fighting type. And these things, I like Surfetch. It's not the fastest thing, but it's not the slowest thing. And yeah, that's all I gotta say.
After Surfetch, heavy mountain Rocky Metals.
Heavy metal.
I'm gonna call him Matt from now on.
Finish the draft with Arbok, which I've never seen drafted before. I guess I've never seen Reboot drafted.
I did it.
I mean,
if you had seen Reboot drafted before, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I liked his first few picks, but I'm not a big fan of Eric's draft at all, not gonna lie. It's got offense, don't get me wrong, but Ferrothorn's the only thing to really wall on this team. which would be fine if there was more bulk, but there just really isn't this team.
Yeah, I could see him doing like a bulky offense with like, I think Latios can be a good switch into certain things. Keldeo even, like, they can switch into, obviously Latios with the dragon typing can switch into electric, grass, water, fire types, whereas Keldeo can take on like steel types and stuff like that. So I think he's got a lot of strong Pokemon, and it definitely kind of tapered out a little at the end because he used all his points in the beginning. But anyway, Arbok. I think it's kind of cool with, you could do like a shed skin coil rest set with this thing, which would be kind of fun. And it does also get Intimidate, which is not a bad ability. And, absorb those toxic spikes.
And it would have a lot of speed on Toronto. It's not the slowest.
That's exactly.
After Arbok.
This next pick makes me so sad to see.
Ooh.
And that's because Sandslash on paper, I don't have it on paper. I think it's like a really budget Dawn fan, you would think. It's got pretty similar stats, just lower. It's got Sandveil and Sandrush, which isn't too bad. It's got a pretty nice offensive move pool. It's got Stealth Rock. It's got Rapid Spin, but it just dies. Like, Donphan has enough HP stat to eat one special move. This one does not. So that's my big issue. Usually I like it, but I don't think it fits on this team. Tyranitar does everything Sandslash does better, except spin.
Although that is a good Sandrush combo, though, I gotta say.
Yeah.
It could make it into a sweeper.
True. It has what, like is it 100 or 110 attack? 100 attack, 110 defend. So it's not the worst, but I don't think this is what the team needed. I still don't like. I think Klefki is the worst pick, though. I don't like it on this roster after it's been finished.
Say I'm kind of looking at it and I'm like, okay, Sandslash is the hazard removal.
Yeah,
it's Rapid Spin.
Klefki gets Defog, I'm pretty sure.
It does.
Maybe
yeah.
he does.
I think Thunderous was his only other thing. Yeah, it gets Defog.
Oh yeah, Uxie doesn't.
Oh,
Yeah. This next pick, I actually have some insider information because I had Chicago's draft plan. They just changed this last minute. They were going to grab Pharaoh Seed, which I actually like. I like that, but at the same time, I like Meganium getting some spotlight.
Yeah, me too.
As the final pick. Double screens. It's not a bad mon at all. It's got good stats. Its move pool is bad, straight up.
Yeah.
Like, but it's got the elements to do stuff with it if you play around with it right.
I used to run a Choice Scarf Meganium last generation that was like, it would catch people off guard with like, I would run Earthquake and Petal Blizzard, and that was a lot of fun.
Meganium is the best Mega.
So overall on
original
his team, yeah, it really is. He got 2 megas and you didn't get any.
I know. It's not fair.
But just looking at his team, I like it, but I don't love it.
There's things that it dies to. I can't say them because I face him week 1. So.
All right. But I mean, he's got bulk, he's got speed, and he's got damage. But I don't know, nothing. Corviknight Tapu Lele, I think that's pretty good combo. Mega Absol, but like I like his first few picks. I'm not a huge fan of the Zygarde. I even think a Druddigon and then a better grass type would have fit this team better than the Zygarde.
Druddigon is solid. I do like Druddigon.
But I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah, I think it's definitely solid, but definitely has a few missing points. That maybe because he got sniped or something. I don't know. Definitely, you got the insider information. But,
yeah.
The game's a fun mon, and I can't disrespect it.
Yeah.
Speaking about fun moms, we have Driftblimp up next. Now,
Oh my
Driftblimp
god.
is some people sleep on Driftblimp, but I just watched Driftblimp 5-0 a team a couple days ago
This was
because
hands down my worst snipe of the draft. I wanted this
I'm trying
thing
to think.
so bad.
I'm trying to think of Sap Sipper, not Sap Sipper, String Sap. I keep on
Strength Sap.
messing that up. There was some other moves. I forget the set that Gino used, but yeah, Driftblimp got 5 kills and right now leads the league in kills.
Oh, that's incredible. Oh man, I wish it was on my team.
Yeah. I mean, I like where he's gone with the team. I like the addition of more special attack. And he does have 10 points. So I think in terms of the second half of the draft, I wouldn't say he's the best at all. But I do think that the pick does complement the team nicely. And that's what I was trying to say. I think his second half, he's turned around his team a lot more than these other teams I didn't like.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And it does give him a lot of potential speed as well, which was something that he doesn't have a lot of.
Yeah. After that, the New Cosmogs grabbed regular Lopunny.
Sleeper pick, in my
To be
opinion.
fair, it wasn't their pick,
Yeah.
but it's here. They didn't get rid of it. 105 speed, decent defenses. I mean,
Yeah.
it's got cute charm. That's going to piss someone off. Let's be
One
real.
of the coolest things that only this Pokemon can do is Klutz Switcheroo. So it can run an Assault Vest and then switcheroo that onto like some kind of defensive Pokemon and just completely like permataunt it, which I think is so cool. It might not be the most useful or effective way to do something, but I think it's really
But
cool.
if you're going to bring Lopunny.
Right, exactly. It's got to be for some reason.
Yeah, and then to round out their team, they picked up regular Electabuzz.
As opposed to Mega Electabuzz?
As opposed to Electivire.
I don't know what you mean here.
There's a funnier way to say it.
As opposed to Magmar.
But I think this thing can actually compete with regular Electivire.
It doesn't even need... Like, it gets access to Eviolite, but doesn't need Eviolite.
Yeah. And it's faster than Electivire, and it probably gets a lot of the same... So.
And this will be the thing eating some of the electric type moves that...
Right, the team that might need help with.
Yeah. After that, the Twin Leaf Titans grabbed Furfrou. An interesting grab indeed.
This is where I think they kind of go back to their old ways, and I don't like this. You don't need defense and attack. You don't have. I'm sorry.
Especially with
Furfrou's always been a weird... if this thing had made it into Gen 8 and got press, that's when I would say this is a really good pick, but I don't know.
But I don't think it fits the team at all.
No,
it's tough for this too. This thing doesn't really fit anywhere. That's the problem with it.
To be fair, he's confirmed that he's going to be able to get all 11 Mon, which I know I'm going to be biased in my power rankings, but the teams with 9 and 10 Mons, I guarantee are going to be my lower ranked teams. I think having more Mons is that much more important.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
After that, the Matt gets to explain the Mon that he randomly dropped.
I don't understand why you drafted this in the first place.
So I was planning on taking Driftblim in this pick, and when I saw Driftblim had gone like a few picks ago, I was like, crap, that was the only... I didn't have like any backup plan. But then I just remembered that I was looking at like, maybe there's like a lower tier... When I was looking for grass types, I noticed that Libani was also very low. And I was like, well, it also gets Sticky Web too. So I thought, well, that might be a useful, like, cheap late draft pick.
And you have 2 water and 2 fire to get rid of that 4 times weakness.
Exactly. So it's not even like an issue. I have the double fire water grass core. Wait, yeah, I do.
You
but
do.
No, I do drop this thing because I didn't really want it, and there was something else I wanted more. But should I talk about that now?
I mean, you can go ahead, like, because the initial draft is what I think power ranking should go off of. But
Okay. Well, yeah, I think Livani is definitely solid. It's got like better bulk than you think it might, and I actually really enjoyed running Focus Sash Swarm. So I get Sticky Web up first turn, and then have like a super strong like X Scissor or whatever bug move to go for the next turn before it just gets knocked out. And that's basically the only thing I would ever do with Livani. But for the interest of the stream, I decided to drop this thing pretty much immediately because I wanted Mr. Rhyme, which I think is a lot more fun, and it's Gen 8 Pokemon.
yeah, I almost picked up Mr. Rhyme.
Yeah, I think it's solid. It's got.
I hate that he exists, but
Yeah, me too. When I first saw him, I cried myself to sleep that night. But I've warmed up.
There's a fun ability.
It is, yeah, and he's got 110 base special attack, pretty cool. And I really wanted an ice type because just ice is strong.
I wish he got Aura Veil.
Yeah. Though funny though if he got that and Screen Cleaner. But I think something I've seen, it gets Nasty Plot and Rapid Spin, so you can get like the speed boost plus double special attack, and I think that can make it into a really cool sweeper.
Jose, I don't understand this pick. I really don't. I understand you were waiting for Rhydon. That makes sense to me. You were waiting, and you didn't realize Rhydon was taken. But why Stunfisk as your replacement ground type? Rhydon would have been 4 points, so you could have got a different 4-point group.
Instead, you drafted a Flatfish.
Well, I can't speak to it because I don't know off the top of my head what other ground types were around this year. But, Discharge, you can paralyze people. Probably, does it get Stealth Rocks? I don't know. But I think he has a really, really strong team, and this is probably like the only one weird thing so far.
I mean, he could have grabbed Whiskash.
I think that might even be weirder than that.
I don't know, it's just weird to me back-to-back with the Vikavolt.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's a good point.
Or Vikavolt. I don't know how you
yeah. I would say Vikavolt.
I don't know, Stunfisk is bad.
I think it does what it does. It's an electric immunity. And that's, yeah.
So, after Stunfisk, we're going with Lunatone for the Toronto Tepigs.
What is this thing speed? Let me look it up.
Yeah, does it outspeed Moltres?
I doubt it, but let's see.
He still has
70 speed, so no.
Nope. Okay.
Nope. 90 is still the tier to beat.
He has one more 2-pointer to try and beat that.
Voltorb. I think Voltorb is probably at least 4. Oh no, Voltorb is 2. I'm pretty sure, unless it's higher than 4.
But Lunatone, though, kind of cool. It gets Nasty Plot, which I think it just got this generation, which is cool. And it gets some cool coverage moves too. So outside of looking at this whole team, it's kind of a cool, like, cheap pick at the end.
Yeah.
It's cool. I mean, I don't mean to be mad or like to be mean, but this isn't what they needed. This is a bad pick, not because Lunatone's bad,
right?
But because Moltres, I thought, was going to be the turning point.
It went straight into the trash can.
That was the peak of their speed.
After that, the Glasgow Googers picked up Kangaskong to finish up their draft, which is
this was a snipe, a pretty heavy snipe for me. But then I remembered I had Beware, so. But I wanted a Wish Passer. Kangaskhan is often slept on. I got killed by one before, which is how I know that. Scrappy, great ability. 105 HP Wish Passer, gets Fake Out. I love Fake Out. It's got a very solid move pool. It can do so much. It can run Shadow Ball with its 40 special attack. It gets Seismic Toss. It gets Sleep Talk and Rest. I don't know. I obviously return Facade. Run that Disable. I don't know. I think it's a good mon.
Substitute. Slap a Silk Scarf on there. Do like Fake Out Frustration.
Yeah.
Sucker Punch, right?
I think it's a good mon. I'm very happy with this. Oh, Sunfisk is a flying root. I mean, I understand that. So are rock types, though.
So is like Geodude.
I just personally, I don't think it was the best pick, but it's certainly not a bad one.
After Kangaskhan, you know what also resists flying types? Aggron, which was my steel type because my front office was like, "Why haven't you drafted a steel type?" And I'm like, okay, I guess I have to draft a steel type now.
I mean,
guess I have to now.
You've got a Fairy Dragon Steel Core. I'll give you that much.
It's a bulky one. It's Sylveon Gudra Aggron.
It looks like the Dark Sentinels may have heard about us ripping on their left key because they just dropped it.
Oh
no. They dropped Cleft Key for Steelix, Sceptile for Whimsicott, and Sandslash for Fracture. I actually like that a lot.
Yeah, I didn't know.
It's not going to affect my power rankings, but that's good.
Sceptile, Whimsicott's really good, and Fracture's...
Whimsicott's better than Cleft Key.
We're still... now do they actually have hazard removal, period?
Don't worry.
Whimsicott does.
Whimsicott is defog. Okay.
Oh, yeah, because they finished without a dragon type, so... But yeah, so back to Aggron. Very defensive. Dice and Aura Sphere, but let's not worry about that. It got sturdy.
It has sturdy. Also, I have Silver.
Yeah. It's a strong wall breaker.
I don't see this coming much, but I can see it work.
Also, there's this beautiful item called Red Card. I'm going to put it at that. Mop's here for his pick finally, and he can talk about Electric Golem.
So Jose pressured me into taking this. I don't know how it works, but he pointed out I also did not have a resist. Which that's a problem. Considering flying types are very strong.
You had a oh no, never mind. Galvantula kind of.
Yeah, Galvantula is not a resist. Alolan Golem, it seemed interesting. Magnapole and Sturdy, obviously, but Galvanize seemed fun. Because I can just explode for a 250 stab electric type move after I study. I mean, it's got a strong move pool. It's very.
You can't have sturdy and galvanize.
Very offensive. No, I can't. It's called Focus Sash.
There you go.
It seemed interesting when he suggested it because I was trying to figure out what to do after Kangaskhan went, and I wanted a Wish Passer, but This was good. I thought this was a fun pick.
I just want to blow people up sometimes.
Yeah.
Also, Mop with the most points left right now, coming into the last pick at 8.
Yeah, I knew that no one was going to take this one. My next pick, so I finally got a wheel.
Mop finishing it off with Mess Spirit.
I mean, I felt like I needed. I wanted more bulk on my team. I wanted a better rocker because I didn't have any great ones, like ones that wanted to be forced into rocks. I don't have great hazard removal. I'll be the first to admit that. But I don't really need great hazard removal on my team. I don't
just run boots on everything.
Yeah, easy. 6 boots. I was actually watching the WBE draft stream, and one guy literally, every time someone drafted him on, he's like, "Oh, and this new item called Heavy Duty Boots." I'm like, dude, stop putting boots on literally every mod.
Oh man.
But overall, I like my team.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a common thing, but I think I've got a good mix of power and bolt. I feel like all 11 of my mons need to not like need to be prepped for, but you can expect them going to any match.
Yeah.
And I think that's important.
I think Mesprit in particular has a lot of versatility. I remember that thing put me down. Jose was using it actually in my last league.
Oh no.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm liking this team. I don't know how. I don't like my lack of walls. That's my biggest issue. I've kind of got walls, but not like big walls. Considering I have to play Jose twice. That'll be an issue considering he has breakers for big walls.
So after that, it flips back around to the other Missouri team as I finished my draft off with Masquerain. A nice. I mean, if this was like 4 points, I would have understood it, but it was 2 points, so it's like,
Yeah.
I like sticky webs to start with.
Yeah, I was considering this thing too.
Fast webs.
Yeah.
And then I've used this before. I didn't use it great, but intimidate with webs is great.
Yeah.
It's able to U-turn
Quiver
out.
Dance.
It gets Quiver Dance. Baton Pass.
I think it's Priority Aqua Jet as well.
Yeah, it gets Aqua Jet, it gets Hydro Pump, it gets Haze, it gets Tailwind, it gets Whirlwind, it gets Roost, if you want to keep this thing alive. It gets Scary Face, I mean.
Yeah. If you bring Scary Face, I'll be impressed.
It gets Giga Impact. Runs Felsinger Giga Impact.
Yes.
Honestly, this mod should not be 2 points. I was looking at it, but Galvantula may have been 10 points more, but Galvantula is so.
Oh, yeah. And that rounds off the Sylveon KC draft, which started out bulky and then didn't go bulky besides Aggron sitting there. But that was a front office. You get yourself a steel type. After that, Toronto Teppigs picked up Hakamo.
Hakamo'o.
Wait, is this their fastest? No, it's
this...
65.
Dang it.
Oh.
So, no
it's actually slower than
100.
Lunatone.
Went backwards again.
It gives them a dragon and a fighting, so that's useful. Their Fairy Dragon Steel is Melmetal, Hatterini, and Hakamo'o. I don't know, it's...
And it does not get Clangorous Soul, I think.
This team overall, I mean, it's not bad. It's really not.
It's slow.
But, yeah, the team is so slow, so bulky, and it doesn't hit you specially except for Hatterene, really. Moltres isn't bad, Lunatone's not bad, but, like, for the most part, throw in an Assault Vest Gudra and you win.
I don't think I even play him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's in Shield. And I've got a fast team, so hopefully I can that. Oh yeah, actually I play him twice. I play Matt, Jose, and Finley.
Speaking about interesting last picks,
Jose grabbed big money pick.
No, this is not a mean pick. Jose will be the first pick. Let's be.
He'll probably
I
say
appreciate how it looks on the slide. It's very majestic.
Oh yes.
So Diglett.
Going for the mascot, which I'm not happy about, but I respect. My mascot is what I'm saying. Diglett Dreams mascot.
Diglett is beautiful.
I want to see this thing with an EV.
He's missing 2 types, and he still went with the Diglett. I understand that shows supreme confidence, and I will lose to Jose both battles. I always do. I've beaten him once, and it was due to luck. But, and I got number 1 seed in the Sun Conference before getting blown away. But in my first round of playoffs. But this team, I mean, it's good, but again, what are the 2 types it's missing? Let me figure that out.
It is missing...
Bug?
Nope, they have Vikavolt.
Oh no, they have Vikavolt. Yeah.
Dark? No, they have Hydreigon. I don't know if they're missing a type.
Because there's
Probably
18
one I just
types in the
can't think of.
game. Let me try to
Rock,
figure this out. Yeah, they're missing a rock type.
Missing a rock type.
which is kind of okay, honestly.
Yeah, it's okay.
And then they're
And
missing.
I'm trying to figure out what they're missing. I'm just gonna read out all. Oh wait, they're missing an ice type. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Ice. I think an ice type would have been better here.
Get like, oh no,
I think the
Glaceon
trapping
Fluids.
ability, though.
Yeah, I mean it does get trapping, so it's not like it'll be useless. But
Yeah.
he just drafted a ground, so I'm not the biggest fan of this pick.
So here's something that we haven't seen.
Oh,
Someone finished their draft with points.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I talked to him, and I don't think he thought he did. Oh no,
'Cause
it's
I
you.
thought-
It's the other guy
yeah.
that didn't.
So I ended up with my transactions. I think I ended up using all my points, but there was a whole confusion towards the end of my draft. But Jose picked this one for me, and I did end up sticking with it, even though I did want to pick a ghost type more
See,
so. But it does
I
make
don't-
sense because
I don't
it is
like
a ground
Volibee.
immune. It's actually not bad.
I can't remember its evolution's name. What is it?
Mandibuzz.
Yeah, I don't think Mandibuzz is good.
Oh,
So of course I don't think Volibee is good.
it's really
It's
good.
got big pecs.
It's
don't
really
get me
good.
wrong.
Well, being Pex is the best ability in the game.
Hmm.
So it's not even really fair to use it by code more often.
Yeah.
See.
I
But
can't
it's
remember if
got-
we banned big pecs though.
Yeah, I guess I should message Area done.
So you see, Matt really wanted like another Gen 8 fire type, but he wanted
Yeah.
like Sizzle Pete or something.
I mean,
Yeah.
Reboot just got dropped today, so
So
now-
maybe you might see me make a transaction sometime soon. But no, Volibee actually, I like Volibee. It's got knockoff and foul play, taunt, defog, and it is pretty bulky with an Eviolite. I think it's a solid pick.
I like your team, but the issue goes to both of you guys. I think megas are too important to just not draft. In my
We'll
mind,
see.
but
Yeah.
I mean,
also-
you'll probably beat me twice still. But
We'll see.
I'm already predicting 4 and 6 or 3 and 7 for my record this season.
I did the math, and I found out that I have 50% of the whole draft's Gen 8 Pokemon. There was
Of the
14.
16 coaches.
There's 14 total Gen 8 Mons drafted between all 16 coaches, and I have 7.
This
So,
is nuts.
I take that as a point of pride.
Next up, to round out the draft, final pick, Armaldo. Another one you didn't
Ooh.
need have.
Um.
I understand the typing. Actually, no, I don't even understand the typing. You have Buzzwole.
Also,
You ended with 2 extra
Yeah,
points.
it's not a flying
You're
resist
still,
either.
You've got 2 special attackers.
He has 2. I mean, Kiram.
And,
yeah.
well, 3, actually. And they're Lantern, Mega Camera Up, and Drift Blem for the mons that,
Basically,
are meant to be special
Lantern.
attackers. I don't like this team. It makes me sad because the first 3 picks, I was like, this is going somewhere, but it didn't.
Here's what I want to see. I want to see this thing use Rapid Spin, get the speed boost, and then sweep with like Stone Edge X Scissor, Aqua Jet.
Okay. Well,
That's what I wanna see.
With the rest of the stream.
Okay, well, I think that's it. I'm gonna put it back on the pick that really matters. That pick. So that's gonna be all. I think. Mop, you have anything you want to say before you head out? I think Mop's already gone.
He might have already head out. He's
Jose
out.
is in the chat.
He wasn't having none of that Armaldo.
I can't even drag Jose into the chat. Poor
All right,
Jose.
I need to get to some dinner anyway, so
Okay. I can't.
I
move
think it's
you
gonna
to the
be
chat.
a fun as hell.
Oh yeah, this will be a very
league.
fun league. Matt. Okay, here's the deal, Matt. Oh, well, not you, Matt. Jose. Matt's gonna leave. Thanks for joining us and covering for Mop.
No problem.
I'm gonna get Jose to explain his team, and then we will end
Okay.
it. End it all. We've been going
All
for
right.
three and a
Peace
half
out.
hours. See you, Matt.
Later.
Okay. So Jose,
Hello?
I want you to explain the team to me. I'm sitting on Diglett here.
Hello?
Can you hear me, Jose?
Add me to chat, please.
I can't add you to chat because Mop left. Jose, can you hear me? Jose can hear me.
Hello?
Jose. Jose. Can you hear
Hello?
me now?
Hello? Yes, I can hear you.
Do you want to explain Diglett at least? Or your whole draft?
Okay, if I were to... Wait, am I in the stream right now?
Yes.
Alright, so I want you to go over to my draft.
Yeah, I did that. That's why it's showing
Is it
Diglett.
showing
It's showing
on the
Diglett.
screen? Alright. You just give me the rundown of each member of my team.
Okay,
I'll
so
tell you.
opening with Mega Mawile.
That shit hits hard. Nothing much else to it. It's a good steel type. I believe a good steel type is what makes a draft sometimes. And I just thought that it was a good mon. I've always wanted to use it. It was a wall breaker. I just got finished watching, I don't know if you know who Styx is from Token Minorities, abused a Trick Room team with Mega Mawile, and that thing was a beast. So I was like, you know what? It gets Stealth Rocks. It's a wall breaker. It has a good move pool, gets elemental punches minus fire punch, but it gets fire fang, so it doesn't really matter. Basically has 259 base attack. I thought it was a great mon, and I just really wanted to try it.
Okay, after that you picked up Hydreigon.
Hydreigon. So I was debating on either getting Garchomp or Hydreigon, but Hydreigon is another mon that I haven't used in a while. I think I've used it once in a draft, and that's when I first started, like 4 years ago. And on top of that, it just had really good synergy with Mega Mawile. It resisted fire for Mawile. It resisted. It's immune to ground type moves, which Mawile is also weak to. It's a special attacker, so if I can see a Will-O-Wisp coming out towards Mawile, I can switch in Hydreigon and stuff like that. It just covers its typing, its weaknesses with Mawile very well. And it was just another wall breaker. I figured if I were to... Am I echoing? Do I hear myself echoing, or is that just me?
That's just you.
Oh, okay. Whatever. Back in the day, I used to watch Mega Mogwai a lot, and he used to use this thing really fucking well. I remember he paired it with a Victini, which is another breaker, and he said the first couple rounds he always drafted his breakers, and I was like, you know what? I usually don't do that. I usually wait till around mid-draft to draft breakers, and they're somewhat subpar. I realized, I thought to myself, just let me draft them at the beginning and get it over with, and I just thought that's what it was. Plus it gets Nasty Plot, Dragon Dance now, Roost, Defog, Scarfer, Spec user, gets youth turn. I don't know. Just takes care of the things Mawile doesn't like, and vice versa.
After that, Reuniclus was drafted next.
Okay, I took fucking Reuniclus because I wanted Tangrowth because it was cheap as hell for 12 points, but Finlay decided to come, like, at the butt crack of dawn right before his pick was about to end. The pick before me was like, I think I'll take Tangrowth, and I was like, fuck, well, let me get another 12-point mon. So I took Reuniclus because I'm like, this can get Regenerator too. It's not necessarily the ground resist I was looking for because, I don't know, I just thought Tangrowth was stupid cheap. And then I saw Reuniclus was also 12 points, even though it's not, it's 14. I realized that, like, after I finished drafting. So I just took it, figured why not. Fucking just set up and sweep every... Calm Mind, Recover, Psychic, filler move. Literally, it can sweep every fucking week. It gets Regenerator. It's a good status absorber, so if I don't want my fucking... While Paralysis is still affecting it and doesn't lower a stat, it doesn't get affected by Toxic or Burn. It's not a physical attacker, but, you know, just Regenerator, wide move pool, good recovery, very defensive mon, could be its own Trick Room Super. Figured why not. I thought it was 12 points, so I thought it was also very, very cheap, which is why I took it. All I wanted to tank, though, so I was kind of upset.
After Uniclus, you went and got Tentacruel.
Tentacruel, same thing as I used to watch Mega Magua. I actually used to be on his front office. I used to help him build for his teams in the GBA, and I remember looking up to him a lot. And he paired Hydreigon with Tentacruel, and literally every weakness that one of them has, the other one covers or is immune to. Freaking Hydreigon's weak to Fairy, Tentacruel resist. Tentacruel's weak to ground, Hydreigon's immune. Fucking Electric, weakness on Tentacruel, Hydreigon Tex. And I don't know, I've always liked it. I thought it was a good, fast, reliable spinner. Water types are sought after. It's not the bulkiest water type, so, it's going to have trouble switching into, Darmanitan's Flare Blitz or Entei's Sacred Fire, but, physically defensive Hydreigon is indeed a thing. And, yeah, I figured, I don't know, I just thought it was a reliable spinner. It soaks up Toxic Spikes. Every team I draft has a grounded poison because you don't need hazard control. I feel like Toxic Spikes are one of the deadliest forms of hazard control because it just racks up. Even after you come in, it continues to hurt you. So if you have a Pokemon that doesn't need a Defog or Rapid Spin and could just soak them up, why not? Also, if the speed is nice, utility, phase, stall, knockoff, Toxic, doesn't miss. Good mon.
Okay, after that, you grabbed Minshao for some more Regenerator.
Yeah, I don't really have a reasoning for this. I thought it was cool. I don't know. I didn't think it'd last, honestly. I was like, I just kind of wanted to start the U-turn, Volturn core because I realized in the past I played very, very well when I have Volturn, U-turn, and I was actually going to try to get Rotom later on to be part of that Volturn core, but as you can see, that didn't that didn't work, so I got this instead. And yeah, it's another Regenerator user. It's another fucking wall breaker. Freaking Reckless High Jump Kick is strong as hell. I don't know if your stream is PG or not. I just swore like 10 times.
That's okay. I think JoJo came in and did the same thing.
Oh, yeah, he's from New York. He swears a lot. But yeah, he's also black. Oops, sorry.
After Minshao, you went and sniped Mop, getting Licky Licky.
Oh, I sniped someone?
Yeah.
Dude, 4 picks for this shit is, like, insane, dude. Like, this thing is so fast. It's a normal type, so it has, like, really wide coverage. Gets Ice Beam. So, like, if I want to switch it into Zygarde, it can take 3 Banded 1,000 Arrows. I think it can take 4 after it protects after each one if it has leftovers. Dude, it's just such a good mon. Fat Wishes, just a utility mon. Its stats are subpar offensively, but it has such good coverage that whatever mon might try to take advantage of me, I will pack the move for it. So if let's say there's a Zygarde 50%, which there isn't in this league, typically it would be able to set up on my normal type moves because it's not that strong and Zygarde's bulky. You could just set up a sub and start Dragon Dancing, but this thing gets Ice Beam. Say freaking Dragapult wants to set up on my EQs, which won't break its sub if I have it for a Steel type, or my returns, which it's immune to, it gets knockoff or it gets Dragon Tail. It's just like the wide coverage allows this mon to not be passive while being able to support a team so freaking well, and it's just a steal at 4 points, and I just couldn't let it. I had to pick it up. This is like I dipped down in points because before this I was drafting like 18-point mons, 20-point mons, 12-point mons, and then I dipped down to 4 because honestly I would have paid 8 points for this thing, but it was so darn cheap before I had to take it right there.
And then after that, you sniped Mop again and grabbed Talonflame.
So I wanted Volcarona originally because I was like, ooh, heavy duty bolts. Volcarona is going to be really nice. But then I thought, you know what? Talonflame's a good mon. The defensive typing is really good. Checking offensive Pokemon with like Scizor, which I know got drafted. I don't know if Mega Scizor got drafted, but I know regular Scizor did.
Yeah.
And this can take it on pretty well. And just having the heavy duty boots. Now that I said that, I know someone's going to carry knockoff on their Scizor.
Mop has Scizor, so.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I don't know, just good mon. Dude, if I get scared of Volcarona and have the heavy duty boots, just preserve its HP at 100, and then fucking Volcarona starts setting up Brave Bird because the heavy duty boots won't let me take Styles Rock damage, and then Brave Bird away. It's a good mon. I considered it almost making it my Z move user, but I did not.
After Talonflame, you went and got Gorgeist.
Oh, Talonflame also speed tier is really nice. So 126 speed tier, very good. Gourgeist. Like I said, I originally wanted Tangela, but then I was like, well, you know, just similar to Licky Licky, there's some budget grass types out there, and I was thinking, was it? I said Tangrowth. I meant Tangrowth. I didn't get Tangrowth, but I figured there's other budget grass types out there that I could do me some good. I figured why not get the good old faithful, which I've used in the past to great success. I've loved this thing. I used to have a Smeargle Gourgeist team where I just set up hazards with Smeargle and then use Gourgeist to start spin blocking things. I think I had a Bisharp too to abuse defog. And I don't know, it's just I have fond memories of it, and it's just so bulky, especially with the extra large size and whatnot. And you can even use the smaller sizes to to outspeed things. I remember a while ago. I don't think Entei got drafted, so I don't need to worry about saying this, but I brought the smallest Gourgeist, which is like base 99 speed, and you know Entei has to run Adamant if it wants its signature moves. So I set it to outrun the Entei, and I just went for a Destiny Bond right in front of it, and boom, down goes Entei. Really bulky mon. It got some new moves in Power Whip, which I think is pretty cool. While I have to worry about missing, it's a lot stronger than what it used to have at Seed Bomb. It's another form of priority on top of Talonflame's Brave Bird and Mienshau's Fake Out and Feint. I think I have other points of priority, but I think it's kind of like pointless. I think I have like, does Hydreigon get Quick Attack or some shit? Oh, I got Sucker Punch for a while. Never mind. I'm doing pretty good on priority. Never mind. Yeah, just more priority. It's fat. It can be fast, or you get 4 different sizes. I think it's a good mon. I think Showdown does a thing too, where it doesn't tell you what size it is. You just have to guess by looking at it, so it can really offset people.
And after Gorgeist, you pick up Vikavolt.
Bike Bolt. Okay, so here's where I wanted Rhydon, and I started. I really, 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 really wanted Rhydon, and I had Stunfisk behind as a backup pick, but I didn't. I was looking at the other teams, and a lot of the teams had electric types, and a lot of the teams had higher tier grounds. So I was like, all right, well, the one ground type was from the lower tier that I wanted. Would have been a really good physical wall. It would have been a flying resist, and it would have given me another stealth rock because as of right now, all I have is Mawile. So I figured I was going to get Rhydon, but that got taken. And I also realized I wanted a bug type as
Okay. And then after that, you went.
I already got Reuniclus, but I would have liked a fourth fighting resist just because they're so prominent. And 3 I can make an agility. I got swept by one really bad in the GPC when Sun and Moon first came out. And I don't know. I've been scared of it ever since, and I kind of want to use it. So, come on, Volt Switch, Bug Buzz. It seems pretty cool. Mm-hmm. High special attack.
And then after Vikavolt, you went and got Stunfisk to Mop's dismay.
Oh, he wanted Stunfisk too?
No, he thinks it's a bad pick.
Dude, 2 words. Gypsy King. This mon is not fucking bad, dude. This thing can take fucking hits, man. It can Scald. It can fucking Thunder Wave, Toxic, Stealth Rock, Earth Power, Discharge. They use this shit in Heat Up Fajita, and it fucking... Dude, this shit is not that bad. It's a bulky mon. Passive, somewhat, yes. Doesn't have the most, like, wide move pool, so it can't own its own, like Licky Licky does with its really wide move pool. But it's, I just wanted something to get rocks up, something that was a reliable bird check, because while it doesn't hit the hardest, birds are not the most bulkiest Pokemon. So, like, you can just fucking electrocute them. It can use its electric coverage to hit the birds that my team might be afraid of. I just figured it was a good mon. I would have preferred Rhydon, of course, because it's less passive, gets up rocks, and it was a good physical wall, and a ground type all in one, plus a rock type. So, but I didn't end up getting that, so I figured I ended up choosing Vikavolt plus Stunfisk as my semi-bird checks. More so Stunfisk, because Vikavolt actually takes neutral damage from flying type moves. But yeah, I think it's a good mon. I've used it before. I like it.
And then your last pick is Diglett.
So I have some tricks up my sleeve, and I can't say for sure what I'm gonna do in case someone from the league decides to watch this. But I've already started to like brainstorming what I was gonna do versus other teams, and Diglett is gonna. It's a trapper. That's all I can say. I'm not saying what mons I'm gonna use it to trap, but it's gonna trap some mons that are gonna open up like it's just like Doug Trio. What stops Mawile? Fire and steel types. What the fuck? What does Diglett trap and kill with Earthquake? Fire steel types. It's just gonna open up doors for Mawile, I do believe, and things like that. And I know there's a Magneton running around the league. Matt, if you're still here, so I don't have to be the only one worried about getting trapped. If there's a Magneton or a Magnezone around, I have a Diglett in the back. And there's just some other mons that are kind of threatening to my team that after a few hits, I've done some calculations. Diglett actually can take them out and live hits. I figured it was a good mon. My third rocker, not so prominent on Stealth Rock with Stunfisk and Mega Mawile, but not that they're bad rockers. Stunfisk I'm not going to want to bring to every game. Mawile I might want to bring to every game, but I don't want it to be a rocker every single time, so I figured I'd have a little third one. I might do some free agencies and
Okay. Well, thanks, Jose, for stopping in and explaining the team. Maybe, if I didn't lose you. I think I lost him again. It sounds like he's been driving, so he probably hit a dead zone. Are you still there, Jose?
hello?
Yeah, okay. I think you just hit a dead zone, that's all.
I did. I connected to some random ass Wi-Fi while I was driving. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
But yeah, I don't know up to what you heard.
You just said that the last thing you said was the free agencies. You might do some.
I might make some free agencies, but I'm confident in this team for week one. I know I can do some work. I've already started prepping, so we'll just have to wait and see. I don't know. I think the team's looking pretty good. What do you think?
I say it's probably, in my opinion, one of the best teams that are here. There's a couple other teams that I'm like super worried about, but out of the
Glasgow Gudras are looking scary, man.
yeah, I would say Gudras. I'm not worried about Matt, but that's a different topic. With some other people, I'm like really worried about.
There's while not all the teams are like insanely amazing, I have seen a lot of the people in the league play, and while the teams may not be uber competitive, ultra super, I can tell some people were trying to have fun, like Matt drafting almost all of his Generation 8 mons. His team might not be the best because I feel like he was trying to draft a fun team, but dude, that he knows how to play. That's a good player.
And then I know the Roman Polions will be something to watch out for.
What's their team again?
Team Magirna, Latios, Mega Blastoise, Incineroar, Hippowdon, Statlan, Eldegoss, Zebastrak, Rodham.
I've already expressed my thoughts on Magirna. I hope you're not able to make it a Z user because that thing is fucking scary. But yeah, Magirna Latios core is pretty tight. Blastoise does a rapid spinner. It gets shell smashed now. It can actually pay doors for Magirna. It's a team to fear for sure.
Yeah, well, thanks for stopping in and have a safe drive back home.
Thanks, man. Shout out to you and your viewers. Peace out.
Okay, thanks for stopping in. That's going to be all for this draft. We're coming up on almost 4 hours. I want to thank everyone who stuck around. PR Live, that's up to Mop. I've been sitting here for the past 4 hours covering the team. We're going to finish off with my team because I'm the one who's doing the stream. But I'm super excited to use my team. I think it's one of the best teams I've drafted, but the last time I said that, I went 0-12. Sylveon, Suicune, Gucci, Donphan, Shaman, Drapion, Meloetta, Braviary, Alolan Raichu, Aggron, and Masquerain. No Gen, 8 Mons. It was planned. No Gen, 8 Mons. There's a lot. The first 7 Mons are super hard to prep for. And if you think it's hard to prep for, that's where I usually get you. Sylveon, expect Choice Banded Sylveon at some point in time. I also like to run Scarf sometime. I might do that if I have to face Jose, because he hasn't... no? I don't think I need to even do it against Jose. Suicune, I've seen just kind of do really well work, and I needed a good water type because I didn't do that last draft. Gudra allows me to do so much coverage, similar to Meloetta. Donphan is, in my opinion, one of the best spinners and rock setters in the game. Shaman has a lot of coverage, similar to Gudra, and is a grass type. Drapion works so with Sylveon, it's not even funny. Braviary, because America. Alolan Raichu's really fast and allows me to do some electric and psychic shenanigans. Aggron is there just kind of to be a steel type. I won't expect it every game, but who knows? I might need a steel type every game. And then Masquerade's there to set up. I'm kind of thinking bring some heat to the match against Mop. So the very first match for this season is going to be me and Mop, the coach of the St. Louis Suicunes, doing an expedition match because we are on opposite conferences and we've played before. We're close to each other. So it'll be cool to show that off, show off the league. But that's going to be all for this stream. I want to thank everyone who's sat around and listened. But that's going to be all for me. My name's Commander. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please, I can't say really leave a like, but I guess if you're watching on YouTube, leave a like. If you're also on YouTube, guess who's going to win the championship? I don't know. In my opinion, even though I think I have a good team, I'm too, what's the word I want to say? I'm too rusty to attempt to try and make a playoff push for it. So I'm going to say the finals is going to be the Seattle Marinis and Jose, who we just talked to. And I'm going to say either I'm going to say Roman Polions. Roman Polions versus the Seattle Marinis is going to be your finals, in my opinion. So that's all. We will see you, I believe, Friday for Sylveon KC versus St. Louis Suicunes. See you then.